Hello there! From behind the yellow line, this is Trammin episode 229. My name is Kirk, and today I'm joined by my friend, and he's a lover, not a fighter, Matthew Serrano.
What's up, everybody? Our Big Thunder topic of the week is for the love of theme parks.
It's a love, S.O.S.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard Trammin, a Disneyland podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. As a courtesy to other passengers, we ask that there be no eating, drinking, or smoking on board. In just a few moments, we will begin our trip into the Disneyland Resort news and topic of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, this tram is ready to depart. Driver, you are clear.
Welcome back to Trammin, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We're your hosts, Kirk and Matthew. What's up, dude?
What's up? How's it going?
It's good. It's good. I'm going to be adjusting your levels a little bit because your mic control ain't what it's supposed to be.
Really?
Yeah. See, that's a little better.
Oh, yeah. Do I need to be gripping the mic?
Did you hear the difference when you just leaned in?
Better. Yeah. I'll try my best to be leaned in. I know I'm bad with these microphones. But I've been good. I've been really, really good.
Good.
I've got my cherry Coke that you so graciously
Cherry Coke Zero.
me. Cherry Coke Zero.
Big difference.
Big difference. So I'm as happy as a clam.
All right. Let's before we do anything else, let's have another drink on the table. It's time for.
That's right.
Kev's concoctions with Kirk and
Matthew. So my brother Kev likes to concoct things. My bad, he hasn't sent like what it is yet. But the bottle.
So this is fun. We just get to figure it out.
I know what it is.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna try it.
Okay.
So to Rain's wedding hiatus.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Salud.
I picked this specially for you.
Okay, because you picked it specifically for me. I'm trying to figure out what it could be.
Do you see? You really gotta.
I gotta really lean in.
Scoot in.
Make
scoot
love
the whole
to it.
chair.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what this could be. I'm gonna take another sip. Do I get a hint or?
How about I read? Oh no, I was gonna do mousekeeping, but we got the music.
I don't know. It just tastes like alcohol.
It doesn't. Okay, so this I believe is strawberry ginger.
Don't get any.
You don't get the ginger?
I get a little bit of the ginger.
Hold on. Take a sip out of the back.
Out of the back? Okay.
Because these are from different halves of the bottle. Yours tastes sweeter. You're gonna like this one more, right?
Yeah, mine is definitely sweeter.
Mine has more ginger.
Oh yeah, I got the ginger.
Yeah.
Now it's in the back of my throat.
Yours has more of the sweetness. I don't really taste strawberry. There's probably some strawberry extract, or we're wrong. It said straw ginger. Maybe there's alfalfa in there.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
think there's any strawberry
it's gonna be strawberry extract,
or like any strawberry in this. I think it's just ginger. I knew there was something, but you saying that you got it for me, I had a feeling that it was something sweet, but then I just couldn't.
No, I went with the ginger because I know you like ginger. The ginger will mask the beerness.
It doesn't. See, my thing with taste.
You drank that whole mango thing last time.
It was pretty good. My whole thing with taste though is when people are like, "Oh, things mask" or whatever. If I don't like something, I'll taste it. So if you give me something that's banana and you're like, "Oh, but it doesn't really taste like banana," I will taste the banana.
How do you feel about banana?
I don't like banana.
Oh,
I only like
Chick-fil-A
banana.
milkshake for you.
No, sadly, no. I only like banana the way Salvadorians do it. We take it when it's like basically like rotting. Like, you know, when it's so ripe
when it's
that the
banana
peel
bread time.
is black. Yeah, when it's banana bread time, and we take it out of the peel and we fry it. Yeah, that with some sour cream and some beans, delicious. Because it doesn't really, it kind of gets rid of that
sour
like,
cream and beans.
Yeah, crema and frijoles, delicious.
Okay,
that's a game-winning combo right there.
I can't talk. Armenians do this thing with like, we do, I think it's cold pasta shells with yogurt, like Greek yogurt.
I'm
and
interested.
then hot ground beef on top.
Oh, sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
No, I know, but in terms of like odd combos.
Yeah. It is kind of an odd combo, but I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on. Thank you to my brother Kev. I do like it. I love ginger, dude. I love booch.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to kombucha.
It already gives you like a burn in the back of your throat, and the ginger is like an extra burn.
No, the ginger is the burn in the back of the throat.
Yeah, but the kombucha also kind of
There's no kombucha.
Or the alcohol or whatever.
No,
whatever it is.
I'm telling you it doesn't, because it's not that type of alcohol. Distilled spirits give you the burn in the back of the throat, but beer doesn't do that.
Gotcha.
Now,
So
you could totally not be liking the taste of the beer. Beer still has an alcohol flavor, but that whiskey burn is not here. That's just the ginger burn in your throat.
Gotcha,
straight up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
No,
ginger burn is nice. Ginger burn
I could feel it. It's just burning my throat.
Yeah.
So yours is just a lighter version. That's probably why. It's more of a tickle. Mine's like a scratch.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kev.
Thank you, Kev.
Let's clean up another love emergency with mousekeeping. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard Trammin, a Disneyland podcast where Rain and I talk about the Disneyland Resort through and only through our eyes and sometimes through guests' eyes. Listen to full episodes every Wednesday or topic-only uploads on Big Thunder Thursdays. If you enjoy the show, like, subscribe, comment, and review us wherever you can, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, my favorite YouTube. Sorry, that's Rain's favorite YouTubes. For a visual guide of the show, follow @Trammin Podcast on Instagram, and to write into the show, head to trammin.com/ask. While you're on trammin.com, catch up on lore, check out our recommendations, or download some artwork for your personal use. If you want to chat with us on Discord, ask us how. And you can find all these links and lore on trammin.com. So, let's get in some news. I have some headlines for you guys. I did not finish writing them.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see.
Getting some more on the fly. Do you want to talk about the ones that are written down already first?
No, because I do them on the fly.
Okay.
I do them on the fly.
Okay.
So let's see. What can we do? All right. Hot Dog of the Month Club.
Yes.
Turn your attention to Disney Eats on Instagram for the upcoming Hot Dogs of the Months. So this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, at least a few years.
Like,
from what I know.
It's been going on since Whitewater Snacks.
Yeah.
So at Craftsman Grill and Craftsman Bar, which is just the food from Craftsman Grill, they have a Hot Dog of the Month every month. So they had one that was like a potato. They have one coming up. It's chicken parm. There's a California burrito hot dog in a bolillo. Or is it bolillo or bolillo?
Bolillo. Yeah, bolillo.
So check out at Disney Eats on Instagram. Good stuff. Go to Craftsman Grill. You don't have to get a reservation at the bar to eat there.
And you found out about this Hot Dog of the Month recently, right?
Jeff did.
Jeff was the one that found out.
Yeah, he was
about
like,
birthday.
"Oh, this is a new thing." I go, and earlier
We
he made a
both were
reference
like,
to being
no.
an AP in 2014. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
I once had in a takeaway box. It was a bunch of mini corn dogs, and they covered it in nacho toppings. So it was.
And they call it the Hot Dog of the Month.
It was the Hot Dog of the Month, but it was like nachos were the Hot Dog of the Month. It was.
That's funny.
Yeah. So cool stuff.
Yeah, they do some pretty wacky ones. It's fun.
I'm tired of making Oogie Boogie Bash headlines because there's so many Oogie Boogie puns I can make, and it's just
Such
done.
as?
No, like not. It's done with the puns. So there's a new teaser video for some villains joining Oogie Boogie Bash.
That's right.
Did you see?
I did.
Yeah. So are we spoiling them here?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, because it's like hard. It's like we're not really spoiling them. It's kind of more like. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's because isn't the video itself a spoiler?
Yeah,
you kind of have to figure it out. Like, yeah, it's Doofenshmirtz and it's Hades.
Yeah, which is great.
Those are great. Two great picks. I'm very excited to see both of them.
Only if Hades is a face character.
He's going to be.
He's
definitely going to be. They would not make an announcement if he wasn't going to be a face character.
And then are they going to convert other Hades to face character in the future? I hate that mask, dude.
No, they probably won't. It's probably just going to be a one-time thing. or at least an Oogie Boogie Bash time thing. And who knows if they bring him back year after year after year. But yeah, they would not make an announcement if he was just going to be
the same one.
Yeah, no. There's
Okay.
no way.
All right. Doofenshmirtz, that's cool.
That's fun.
They should just get the actor who did it.
Relevant because of the show getting rebooted, question mark?
Oh, yeah. It's coming back, I think.
And I thought you were hitting up.
No, you're good. You're good.
What was I going to say? A week before they made the announcement, I thought that they were going to announce the villain from Wish.
No one cares.
No one cares, which I'm glad they didn't because no one cares. But I could
King Magnifico.
Here's the thing. The reason why I totally thought they were going to go that route was because of what they did last year. But it looks like they learned from what they did last year because last year, what was the new thing at California Adventure? Big Hero 6 area. So they were like, oh, we know what we'll do. We'll bring the villain from Big Hero 6, which no one cares about. And no one did. I remember the night that
I thought he was cool.
They executed him fine.
Yeah.
But he's a bad villain and no one cares about him.
I always forget his name, which is the problem.
Exactly. I don't think even the biggest Big Hero 6 fan would even remember his name. And dude, I'm telling you, his meet and greet was the only one that was just empty the entire night. And we walked through that area a lot. And every time we walked past, it was just empty. So I think they really learned from that of like, okay, we can't just throw in a villain for the sake of synergy or because of the new thing. It's got to be like because people want to see them. So Agatha worked because WandaVision had just came out and was the biggest thing ever. And then they put Agatha into the land. It wasn't the other way around. So I feel like that's why they were like, all right, well, clearly Wish didn't work. Clearly no one cares about that villain. And so they didn't force him in, which I'm very glad they did not do that. Because, this thing only happens once a year. Like, put the villains that people want to see.
Yokai.
Yokai? Is that what's his name?
Yes. Because I was like, it has to do with his mask, but I'm like, his name's not Kabuki. Because it's the same type of painting, right? So, Yokai. That was his name. Because I was like, oh, Yokai Watch, the thing, the show. So, he didn't take the spot of someone else, though. I don't think it was a bad idea, right?
No, I think he did.
No, because he was in...
No, but I want to say that they didn't have a villain in an area where they normally do in place of having him over there. I want to say that on like the Paradise Gardens area, right next to Golden Zephyr, I'm pretty sure that's where they would put.
No, Facilier is there.
Facilier. I don't think he was there last year.
He was.
Then who am I thinking of?
Because Madame Mim got put where Facilier was originally. Oh no, Facilier went from Animation Academy.
No, he didn't.
He was in Animation Academy a long time ago.
What do you mean a long time ago? I went the first year of Oogie Boogie Bash.
I swear he was in there, but then he was in the Overflow by Avengers Campus. You hear what I'm talking about?
I'm looking this up and seeing. The Overflow for Avengers Campus.
Where they put the booths?
Where they put the booths.
The little extra area.
Oh, there. Yes.
And then
they put him there. Yeah.
And then they put Ernesto de la Cruz. Mm-hmm. And then he was so popular that he took Johnny Depp's place. And Madame Mim, who was in
Johnny Depp's
Mad
place.
Hatter's
Johnny Depp's place,
took Ernesto's place this year.
Madame Mim was there again?
Oh.
No, I don't think Madame Mim came back. Yeah, I'm getting very confused. I'm getting confused about the layout now because I'm pretty sure Boogie Bash 2023. I'm positive Madame Mim didn't come back because hers wasn't very popular either, even though hers was great. Hers was great.
Yeah, because I talked to her and I don't talk to any characters. I talk to Oogie Boogie Bash characters because it's a move.
Because what else are you going to do? That's what you're paying for the event.
Well, I don't, you know what it is? Because it's not meet and greets. It's more fun because they almost have a real-time running story.
That's a good way of putting it.
Like where they just interacted with someone and they're interacting with a crowd and they're at Oogie Boogie Bash as opposed to, hi, Cruella, we're on Main Street. What's your favorite puppy? Like,
right.
You know?
It's very different when you're like, it is my turn to talk to you now.
Yeah.
Whereas it's way more fun them being like, what do you want? You know? Because they're just kind of looking down on you.
Yeah.
I love the Yeah, you're so right. That's why I love Oogie Boogie Bash. I hate meeting characters, but Oogie Boogie Bash is so fun because it removes that awkwardness of like, we're friends now and we're having a conversation.
And I'm better at riffing
Yeah.
then what do I say to a character? So I listen to the last thing they said, and I'm like, oh, I just go off that. Because now it's just like everyone knows. I know you can talk to villains as villains, but everyone knows the deal at Oogie Boogie Bash. So everyone's just being rude. And it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's way more fun than like, oh, hi, Corella. What did you have for breakfast today?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to bring back, what's his face from Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Dr. Doom.
He was sick, but he didn't have a long line.
On the contrary, he had a very long line.
At the beginning. I think he fell off as
it pattered off towards the end.
And Rain didn't get the show. It wasn't working or something. But we got the shoe and all that.
That's a bummer. I had a feeling that even though it was popular when I went, I had a feeling that he was going to be one of those like just one a year things. Because
we always go the second to last weekend. So
yeah, some of the villains are just like too perfect for the spots that they're in. Like Oogie Boogie, you're never going to move him from inside animation with all the screens and stuff. It's perfect. And Agatha, unless they had some other huge Marvel villain,
dude, unless Thanos is there, I don't think anyone cares.
No one cares.
Dude, you know what they should have brought back? Zombie Cap.
Yeah,
Kimmy and I met him. That was sick, dude. He got like inches from our face from that shield. Like he was just slashing.
Yeah, I'm bummed.
And they brought him late because he wasn't revealed yet, so people got shafted.
I'm bummed that they haven't done any like surprises mid-season.
Well, which they know they piss people
sucks.
off.
It sucks, but like it was kind of a fun idea of like, oh man, like if we go, like something could change or whatever. I'm still looking for a guide. There's like no good guides of like here are all the characters that they have or that they had or whatever.
Yeah. So who was in the overflow last year?
I'm trying to see.
Is it on the maps?
That's what I'm trying to find.
I have maps. Hold on.
I'm like talking to you and also,
going live into the closet.
Okay. In the meantime, while I'm talking or while I'm searching for this, I really love. What's funny about Oogie Boogie Bash is the fact that they just decided to not bring back that Villains World of Color show because everyone hated it. That being said, I would love for them to bring back a World of Color show because I do think that is missing from the event. I think that if they were gonna not change the Villains Trail for another couple of years, which I kind of understand why they wouldn't, and if they didn't really add any other huge entertainment options, I really do think that a World of Color show, a new World of Color show would be awesome. It just needs to be better than what they did last time because last time sucked. And Kirk has slammed the door and returned back to his seat.
Let it be known that I'm out of the closet.
Okay.
Okay. I have 2021, 2022, and 2023.
Okay, let me take a look at 2023 while you look at the other ones.
Okay. Well, no, let's do a little reveal, dude.
Okay. One by one.
All right.
So we're looking at 2021 right now. So
a villains list. Come on.
If we look at
what
the
is
lineup,
this
I think you have to hunt it down by numbers. Take a look at 2022 while you're looking.
I don't see villain names.
There's got to be.
No, it's like, oh, no marijuana. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah. It does look like they just have the little...
Just where?
Yeah, that's... Oh. Yeah, it's just the where. That sucks. Okay, hold on. Back to Google searching. I'm just going to look up villains for Oogie Boogie Bash.
Let's see. Do they have it from last year's at least? Here's 2023. Is the performance corridor alive? Yeah, nothing.
Okay. So
what's going on?
Okay. Oh yeah. So I think I did find the Disneyland article about Oogie Boogie Bash.
Okay.
Which, first of all, you were right. Yokai. YOKIAI.
He was AI all along.
Wow. Anyways, no, that's old and outdated. No,
it's fine, dude.
Okay, here we go.
We've lost all the listeners.
Yeah, we did. So apparently, features Oogie Boogie, Corella, Madame Mim, Ernesto de la Cruz, Yokai, and
Madame
Judge
Mim.
Doom.
Madame Mim did come back. They threw
yeah,
her
I
in the
guess so.
tiny area.
I guess
I
so.
think people liked her.
Yeah, I liked her too. I'm done with Corella. They should put a new one in.
Oh, because she's that other
She's been there
Cruella.
since day one.
Is Doofenshmirtz going there?
Oh, he might be. That would be great. That would be really great. I would love
I think that would be a good spot
Okay,
for
I
him.
finally found a guide. Thank you so much. What's also okay? When it comes to Oogie Boogie Bash, do we count the villains that you can meet that can't really interact with you? Because Lotso you can meet.
I forget that you can meet Lotso.
You can meet Lotso, but he's
And then,
not
like-
he's not like a themed meet. It's
I
just
once
like,
randomly met Hercules, Freddy's long lost cousin.
Really?
Yeah, he was just like in Carthay Circle or like outside the fountain
Interesting.
has non-villains. Like Cinderella will just come out.
Wait, apparently Prince Hans from Frozen?
Oh, he was there last year?
Is that last year, or are they just talking about the event in general? Okay. Oh,
Or he just showed up.
So many of the treat trails pack an extra special treat with character appearances, but you can also find characters around the park at dedicated meet and greets. This year, new characters who you can only see during the event include Judge Doom, Yokai, Lotso, and Prince Hans. Favorites from last year have also returned, including Ernesto de la Cruz, Bruno, Mother Gothel, which forgot about Mother Gothel in the Redwood Creek.
Yeah, we
Challenge
always
Trail.
see her.
Madame Mim, and then this was new. I forgot. Minnie, Daisy, and Clarabelle dressed as the Sanderson sisters.
They did that twice now, I think.
No, I feel like it was different. I feel like they were dressed as something else.
I know. I think they were the Sanderson sisters twice, though.
Gotcha. Okay.
They put them in Hollywood Lounge. And
Yeah,
they have the longest
Judge
line.
Doom was at Grizzly Peak Airfield. Yokai was in San Francisco Square. Lotso near Toy Story Midway Mania. Prince Hans was right in front of Carthay Circle Fountain, along with the Old Hag and Captain Hook and Sheriff Nottingham, apparently.
Yeah, we always forget to go back there because we just circle the park twice.
And that's like such a great place for vibes, especially because they do the little show on the projector and stuff like that.
So
the lighting package is amazing. That's like the one thing that I hope I get to see this Halloween season is I hope that like in some way, shape, or form I can get into DCA during Halloween. Minnie, Daisy, and
it
Clarabelle
starts
near
August
Hollywood
23rd
Lounge.
now, buddy.
Yeah. Ernesto de la Cruz at Hyperion. Bruno at Grizzly Peak. Mother Gothel Grizzly Peak Trail. Madame Mim, Bountiful Valley Hideaway.
No way! That's what they're calling it?
They're actually acknowledging that it's from Bountiful Valley Farms.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. I didn't know that she was over there.
Who called it that?
Mouse Info.
Bad.
Is that actually what it's called?
No way.
Can you imagine? I wonder. Now I want to.
Oh, if I just Google it,
Oh yeah, just do
Bountiful-
Bountiful Valley Hideaway.
We got to move on from this.
I know.
news.
Agatha Harkness at Avengers Campus. Corella at Hollywood Land.
Disney Wiki. No, that's just farm. The official name of the area, according to Daps Magic, is Bountiful Valley Hideaway. But it's not on Disneyland.com. So, like, did someone just call it that?
And we're just running with it.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I love that.
All right.
Wow, looking at this article, there really are a lot of characters. But
Yeah.
yeah let's move on.
Oogie Boogie's cool. I'm excited.
I love Oogie Boogie Bash. I just kind of need a break this year because I need for them to really switch up the event.
They're not going to switch up the event.
It's getting a little stale.
What could they possibly do?
They should just do a better World of Color show like that.
They had one.
It sucked. That's what I'm saying. A World of Color show would be great. It would bring me back for another 3 years. But
I think it's too crazy logistically because they have two parades.
yeah.
And everyone there will want to see it.
Oh, absolutely.
So they have to like figure that out.
Yeah, for me, it's World of Color or change the Villains Trail.
If they
entirely.
can-
just a brand new Villains Trail. If they did one of the two things, you got me back. But otherwise, it's just not worth the money just to see like 2, maybe 3 brand new characters.
We like seeing the old characters having new interactions. We like the candy, but
I
again,
do too, but that
this-
doesn't sustain the entire
this
event.
is
You know what I mean?
mine and Kimmy's Halloween thing.
Right.
And when I told my friend RJ to take to go with his wife and his daughter, they went in September, and they were still like, this is our Halloween. We enjoy it because we're at Disney. They have passes, but this is like, oh, we're dressing up at Disney. How fun.
It's super fun. But it's one of those things where it's like you go for us, it's like we went like 4 years, last like 3-4 years in a row. And this year it's like with Queen Mary Dark Harbor coming back. It's like now we have Knott's and Queen Mary.
Because you guys are spooky folk.
Nights, and we're spooky folk. Yeah.
Then it's
different.
You have things that you want to do and look for.
Yeah.
Whereas like Kimmy and I, it's funny though, we call people the spooky people, but Rain and I, like the Trammin vernacular, spooky is actually not horror and scary. Spooky is like, we call Main
Halloween,
Street like spooky and silly.
Yeah.
Which is, I love those vibes.
Yeah, we're the horror. We're horror and spooky.
Yeah.
We are both.
Like spooky's like fall.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, everyone.
Next up. Let's see. What would I call this? Autumnal tummy stuffers. Mickey's Autumn Adventures at Storytellers Cafe.
Yeah, I did hear.
Did you see the picture of this?
No, I did not.
It's freaking beautiful.
Okay,
I kind of want to go.
I need to take a look at this because I also told myself too, like, you know what? I'll skip on an Oogie Boogie Bash this year, but I'll do Goofy's Kitchen Halloween because that's
also doing a thing.
That sounded fun last year. And I know they don't go super crazy Halloween, but it sounds like spooky fun enough.
I love this.
Oh, that's really
Look
fun.
At those outfits. Hello.
I love that. So are they changing up the offerings? Is it going to be very autumnal offerings?
Choose from favorites such as croissants, muffins, danishes, seasonal sliced fruits, fresh berries, Mickey waffles, banana Foster's French toast, pork carnitas, chilaquiles, hand-carved meats.
Wait, so this is like a breakfast thing?
It says, yeah, it's brunch.
Okay, so this is their brunch.
It's a brunch buffet any day of the week with Mickey and the gang.
I'm not
assorted flatbreads, fish of the day. I don't know if you don't what?
The Storytellers Cafe brunch?
Oh,
not a fan.
Everyone goes back
Not
and
a
forth on
fan.
it, dude. Some people say I think it's luck of the draw on their day.
It's really expensive. That's the thing is like I can go to Boma for like half the price and get an
if you
amazing
fly to
breakfast
Florida
every time. I know, but still. Also, Goofy's Kitchen breakfast.
I think this is just the theme for like now.
That's fun though.
Yeah,
I do like that.
And then they do. Okay. Oh, Disney characters do not appear during dinner. Just so you know.
Copy.
Okay.
Is it less money or is it the same amount of money?
I think it is less.
Okay.
And you can, I believe, Storytellers changes all the time. They have a non-buffet option.
Or I thought is it a non-buffet option or can you just go, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Storytellers. Next headline, Viva Navidad. So there's a rumor, according to Fresh Baked Disney, that it will only be 2 weeks long due to the new union rules.
Wow.
Anyone who works longer than 2 weeks has to become a cast member.
Oh my God, that is so short.
So
that's crazy.
There is a Mirabel casting call that may be related to this for singing. It might not be a stage show. It might be like, okay, you're going to be a cast member that does like a different Viva Navidad type of deal.
Yeah. Do you think that they're just going to, I heard the rumor that they're just going to replace Viva Navidad
yeah, it might
with an Encanto
We
show.
don't know. But
yeah,
the rumor is like, because the thing with Viva Navidad, there should be an exception to this rule only because it looks like they get like these dance troupes to come in and do like the Brazilian stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there is a group.
It's a huge group.
The Mexican dancers seem like they're part of the Disney parade dancers, right?
Yeah, I kind of feel that vibe.
But the Brazilian group seems like a very like, you know how there's like the Filipino drum groups?
Yeah,
like
it
that
feels
vibe.
like a brought in troupe.
Like, okay, they came in, so that could be like a contract thing.
You might be right. I feel that vibe.
Yeah, because it's so specific.
Yeah.
And they have to be Brazilian. Like,
yeah.
I don't call many things cultural appropriation, right? But it's just like, oh, we're doing a traditional Brazilian drum thing. It's like, you're not going to just teach randos how to do that.
Right.
Well, and also because it's not like the Encanto section of, or the Coco section of
Of Viva Navidad?
No, the parade. Magic Happens.
Yeah.
It's just vaguely Latin, and you can have white people doing Latin dances, whatever. It's not a display of culture. It's cultural influence on a thing. Yeah. Whereas the Viva Navidad is very much like this is a display of Brazilian culture.
This is the Brazil part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for Jose. It's for it's because it's like the three. Isn't it a mix of Coco and the Three Caballeros? Which also, by the way, I'm pretty sure in the show they call him Jose.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
And then I also think,
however, they acknowledge he's Brazilian at least.
They do acknowledge he's Brazilian, but I also think that they butcher some other Brazilian stuff too, which they never can get. It's almost like they don't have any Latinos working behind the scenes. But anyways, we've ranted about this before.
Yeah. Brazilians aren't Latino.
Exactly.
They're Hispanic.
Exactly. But whenever you have a bunch of non-Latinos, non-Hispanic people working on it, they just assume that everything is Mexican.
Moving on. All right. A sipper for skippers. This is a quote from, I don't know if this was Disneyland or Disney Eats, but now the moment you've all been waiting for, the 9th wonder of the world, the new Skipper's Adventure mug. You can purchase this mug via mobile order on the Disneyland app through Trader Sam's mug release listing on August 8th, and may even get yours signed by the artist Mookie Sato. Artist Mookie Sato will be signing 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on August 8th. Mobile orders can be placed as early as 6 a.m. on August 8th. Limit 2 per order while supplies last. The mug will be available at Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar on August 9th, served with the Skipper Sipper beverage, featuring tropical juices, agave nectar, falernum, mint, and fresh lime juice, topped with soda water. So this is the mocktail.
Yeah, I love
the mocktail. Has a tiki mug now. It's a Jungle Cruise tiki mug.
That is crazy. I love the Skipper Sipper. That's my favorite because Trader Sam's has 3 mocktails. That's definitely my favorite of the 3. Also, pause. Going back to Viva Navidad, you just said Brazilians aren't Latino. They are. They're not Hispanic.
Right. You're right. I was completely off.
They're not Hispanic. So my point still stands. It's because they don't have Latinos working behind the scenes and they get it wrong. I have a whole, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know, I have a whole rant that I posted on my Twitter, and you could also find it on my TikTok too, about Jose and the fact that Disney actually went backwards in how they represented him rather than going forwards. But ironically, the 2 times where they, or 3 times, no, 2 times, the 2.5 times, the 2.5 times where they represented him correctly, have warnings on them for cultural appropriation and being culturally outdated, when ironically they're more culturally sensitive than all the rest of the stuff that they put out in the last 35 plus years.
And we said it a few times ago. Oftentimes, people crying cultural appropriation are not the people of that culture. They're kind of like, it's fine, dude. You know?
Yeah.
Like Speedy Gonzalez, they tried to cancel him, and then the Mexicans were like, please don't cancel Speedy. Mm-hmm. We love Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people say this. Are you familiar with Final Fantasy VII?
A little.
Do you know the character Barrett?
I think so.
He's basically Mr. T.
Yes.
Yeah, like the planet's dying, Cloud. Very stereotypical, right?
Yeah.
So I listened to, again, this is one person, right? But it was someone interviewing a black woman. They're married now, which is funny. But about his representation, because he was like the white guy. And he's not Mr. Cultural Appropriation either. But he was like, it is a little weird. Like, he's just this like super stereotypical Mr. T black guy.
Yeah.
And what the guest said was, yeah, but there are black people like this.
Yeah.
It's not.
That exists.
If every black character in your game is like this, okay, it's a little weird.
That's a little weird.
But like, there are people who talk like this. There are people who don't talk like this at all. And that's why you have like just multiple different, you know. So I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Like, and some stereotypes come out of, it's like the whole, there's truth in every JK. You know, it's like, yeah, there are people like this. It's if you assume everyone is like this. That's the problem.
Which, last thing on this point, I would put $100 on it right now. They're going to announce Tiki Room changing at D23.
They better not.
Just putting it out there.
They better not. It's Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room.
That is my number one. Like,
I think they have no business doing it right now.
Or at the very least, all of them will change except for like,
no one's complaining, dude.
But that's the thing, is all the things they've been changing are things that no one cares about, but are things that they're like, well, in 10 years, we don't want someone to come back and hurt us.
Just don't touch it.
But what did they just do with Country Bears? No one had a problem with country bears.
No.
They were like,
but the reason
we
they
should
did country
change
bears
it.
is because no one cared about country bears anymore. They had to revitalize country bears.
so you feel like,
It was empty.
yeah, but
Tiki room's just
also-
tiki room.
But also they did change it because
I-
of sensitivity reasons too.
But-
both are true.
It's like we're already got to do something.
Well, they're
and
true.
also, it's Disney's thing of like, we got to put the IP in here.
yeah,
And they already did that with Tiki Room. People didn't like it. With Stitch.
that is true.
People did not like new management.
That is true.
Now, we have Moana, but I don't think they're going to do Moana Tiki Room. It's
Yeah,
not going
I
to make
guess.
any sense.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Because I mean, who knows?
Because this is like Walt Disney's original Enchanted Tiki Room.
I know.
They do still think things are sacred. I have this
Kinda,
theory,
yeah.
though, that after everyone who was alive while Walt Disney was alive dies, that people will just see him as some weird legend.
Yeah, I feel like it already kind of is happening.
Kind of, but even though we weren't alive when he was, we've met people who have either met him or seen him or watched him on TV,
Yeah,
right? Uncle Walt, whatever. At some point, there won't be anyone on the planet who was on the planet at the same time as Walt Disney, or even Disney. Like, people are just going to know what they've read about him.
yeah,
Where, like, they would have never met someone who knew Walt Disney. Where right now, it's like, oh, yeah, Walt Disney told me to do this when I was an Imagineer back in the day. I just outlived him.
I also think too that with the way that the Disney company is going, with how they're making decisions, because their decisions are so much less riskier than they were back in the day, back in Walt's era. I feel like that's also going to help Walt's case of looking like a legend, because they're going to also look back and be like, look what he was doing back then versus what they're doing now. And I feel like that's going to help with the whole legend thing in the long run too, especially as more and more people discover his original plans for Epcot too,
Which is just insane.
which is crazy because his Epcot plans were insane. But
we can kind of come back to that in
Yeah.
the episode. So let's just do the final thing. So that was, yeah. Guys, I know Hispanic means Spanish speaking. I want everyone to know this is what happened in my head. Because Latino means Latin America.
yes, so you can be from Spain and if you're from Spain, you're Hispanic, but you're not Latino.
So here's what happened.
if you're Brazilian, if you're Brazilian,
You're
and-
Latino because you're in Latin America, but you don't speak Spanish. You speak Portuguese.
yes.
You're just Latino.
And then I think because I think also, is it Haiti or it's not Haiti? Whatever's next.
We're just
Anyways, yeah,
we don't
we're
need
not-
to get into the islands right now.
Yeah.
So what happened is, I thought Brazil, I thought Portuguese, I thought Portugal, I thought Europe, and then I thought Spain, and then Spain, Hispanic.
You went like all the way around.
Yeah, but because Portugal is touching Spain and they're like super different. So
Right. Yeah.
my bad.
all good.
Yeah.
You've been forgiven.
Okay. If you're Brazilian, write in.
Yeah.
I think I've
So-
ever known one Brazilian.
I've known some.
Cool. She didn't know what a crunch bar was.
What?
She didn't know what a crunch bar was.
Who? What? Who?
My Brazilian friend.
Oh, just like
I like
Crunch,
brought
the
up
chocolate
crunch
bar?
bar and she's like, what's that? She was like 32. She came here when she was 12. I'm like, yeah, 20 years to figure out what a crunch bar
that
was.
is
I'm like, that's
crazy.
not really.
Like, you ever been in a checkout aisle at any store ever?
Crunch bars not really in the checkout aisle.
They kind of totally are.
I
Or
don't
maybe
know.
that was like an old thing. Maybe they're not as much anymore. But that's still crazy. Like,
It
you
is
didn't,
crazy.
You didn't go trick or treating once in the 20 years you were here, or like
Well,
be around
she came
anywhere?
here when she was 12.
Yeah, but
You-
still.
You're already like, you know?
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyways, hope you're well, Christiani. So, non-alcoholic sipper, very weird. The next headline,
Very cool.
the actual sipper has received your sympathetic vibrations. The Haunted Mansion 55th Anniversary Hatbox Ghost Sipper with new haunting sounds is materializing at Disneyland Park starting August 8th.
Very cool.
I hate these plastic sippers.
Yeah, really?
Plastic garbage. Stop. No more plastic garbage. The only plastic garbage in my life is Lego. Because it's not garbage.
Like this right here on the
Lego.
table. Yeah.
But
Lego,
this is,
right
dude,
here.
this is like solid, real stuff. Like that you can pass
could-
these down. You can turn it into other
Right.
things. Where a plastic sipper is just this one.
Yeah.
I'm not Mr. Single Use. Look, I love plastic forks. I do. But You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Bree has a popcorn bucket from, I want to say 2018.
Look, you got 1 or 2 popcorn buckets is fine.
That she like uses as a purse, like as a
no,
a bag.
but like when you have the wall of popcorn buckets,
no, it's a little ridiculous.
it's just gonna be in the trash one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas the Legos will last forever,
mm-hmm.
functionally.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways,
Still fun though.
Yeah. And they're not even zippers anymore. Just it's a cheap figurine.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we didn't make the ceramic version of this. So
that's my thing. Is like if something's that big, I want to get the ceramic version because I want it to stay up for a long time and look really nice up there, you know?
Like I didn't want the Matterhorn cup from Trader Sam's because I thought it was glass.
Yeah.
How sick would that have been if it was glass?
I know.
But I got the not Harold, the abominable snowman.
Yeah, the footprint?
No.
Oh, not the footprint.
I got the guy.
Oh, the guy.
You saw him, right?
Yeah.
I think did Freddie get? He was talking about getting the footprint.
Yeah, and then Jeff couldn't figure out the footprint.
They put ice in the footprint, but it was from the plaque. But it's still silly.
Yeah, I love it though. It's so cool.
It is, but it's not even a tiki mug anymore. Now it's a sculpture.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, they did have. No, we had the bell though. You see that?
The bell?
Rain bought a cowbell from Club 33. Or it's not a cowbell. It's like the
what? No,
like the Billy goats or whatever, the mountain goats.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Because he was like, I want to buy something from Club 33.
Yeah.
I want to put it on the Trammin set, and I want to buy something that's like not silly, not ridiculously expensive, something cool.
That's dope.
And that's like it says 33, and it's metal and leather, and it's just like.
Rain mentioned who he was at.
Yeah. We told the whole story.
Oh, okay,
dude,
great.
did you hear this? We told you about the Jungle Cruise part of the story, right?
No, you didn't.
No?
No.
Okay, so guys, if you haven't listened.
And I don't think Kevin did either.
So they didn't know what to do. Lines were long. And he's like, Kevin, let's go on Jungle Cruise.
Oh, no, I do remember.
Yeah,
and he was like, that sucks, right?
Why didn't you tell me this was going to suck? And Rain was just crestfallen.
And I can hear it in his like sarcastic tone too.
You don't know what he's talking about. Stick to YouTube, Kevin.
Yeah, what does he know?
Call me. Yeah. He's coming in town for D23, right?
I don't know.
Did he give up?
Flip flop. He was supposed to buy my tickets, but apparently someone else did.
Listen, we're gonna kidnap him and he's gonna come on the show. Dude, we have this whole thing. We want him to sit there, facing away from the camera, and it would just block.
That's really
it would be
funny.
Hilarious.
You got to make sure there's no reflection right there, though.
I think he would block his own reflection, dude.
Yeah,
I think the
That's
reflection
really
would reveal just about as much as he revealed himself with the mask.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it would be okay.
That is
But
true.
even then, I could just like cover this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be funny.
That's great.
Okay. It's time for You're Right, in which members of the Tram fam write in with corrections and comments, just like you can, at trammin.com/ask. We have moved the roadcaster today, so I will cue up the corrections music.
Yeah, Kirk, cue up that corrections music, please.
Erica G writes in, hey guys, I'm an econ student, and I just wanted to say I love when you guys do podcasts like this. It brings up a lot of good points for people to hear. We did More Money, Less Magic last week.
Yeah, like a budget-friendly episode?
No.
Or
on how everything is costing more but getting worse.
Oh, that's really sad. Yeah, it's really bad. It's crazy how they were like, all right, fine, unions, we'll pay everyone more, but everyone else has to pay more now.
Yeah, and
immediately.
Before.
Oh yeah, before actually. Yeah, you're right.
That was them telegraphing they're going to agree.
Yeah. No,
but
100%.
it wasn't just that.
Dude.
It just like the timing was like, okay, we need to pull the trigger on this now because
Mm-hmm.
I've been planning this for like a couple months. But it was like how we have Genie Plus, and Genie Plus. Look, inherently, the general idea of what? Sorry,
I just noticed the belt.
Oh, that's from our costume. For me and Kimmy with the yellow tab.
Yeah, from Indiana Jones. Yeah. Anyway,
there's a lot of good.
Yeah.
Good memorabilia here. There's a picture of Rain and Brandy from their moving in thing, a little pride sticker,
a little fan art.
Yeah. My license plate.
Yeah.
That's a real one.
I saw.
Yeah. So
all the corks garage open.
Yeah. All the corks from when Rain and I got drunk on the show.
Fun.
A Game Boy game.
Fun. What Game Boy game?
Mickey Mouse Magic Wands.
Nice. Is that the postcard from that one
Yeah.
shop in Laguna. Yeah, nice.
Some pen I grew up with, a Walt Disney World tram, a podcast that they like shut down and something else, but we won a contest, so they're here forever.
The Adventureland game I see. Is that the reprint? Oh yeah, it is the reprint because I see it's in the plastic.
Yeah.
That's
the
fun. Star Wars
1981 California Scholarship or whatever CSF. You know CSF, like the nerds.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
it was a ticket to Disneyland that my mom went to with an event.
Oh, fun.
Disneylanders All Access Pass back there. Some 68th. That's from Disneyland Paris. Check us out on YouTube, everyone. I hope I get this video up.
Sweet. Yeah.
This is from like when I was a baby.
Aw.
There's another one over there, but he doesn't fit.
Yeah, he's really cute. The sorcerer one.
Rain got that made.
That's
lots of
super cool.
stuff.
You need to like put that in the actual Esplanade one day and just like see how long it takes for someone to notice.
Yeah, let's dig up a paver.
No. Just like leave it on top of one.
It'll crack immediately,
I know.
dude. Yeah, check us out on YouTube. There's some more stuff hidden back there that you can't really see.
I see the Bugs Life on PlayStation. That's fun.
That's from Kevin. All right. What were we talking about? Oh, econ. Yeah, more money, less magic. Like Lightning Lane inherently as a concept, not a bad idea. It's that it's worse than FastPass, but it's not even a good service. It doesn't work properly. The app sucks, all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem with it.
They sell too many of it too.
Yeah, it's like if it just worked like the Universal ones, like those are good,
Universal
right?
has the best system.
But it's like $100-something, right?
Right, and it's worth it. You get everything all in one go. You just pay up, and then also
Well, the $100 one is multiple times a day.
Yes, and then also you don't feel like you're in a line with 100 other people that had the same idea as you. That's the problem with Disney's. Disney's is like ridiculous, where like you're still getting a bad product even though you're paying more, and you're still having to wait.
Yeah.
Whereas Universal's is like, all right, you paid, you don't have to wait.
Although I heard it's not as bad anymore because of the DOS changes.
Which is, God, that's a whole other thing.
That is very complicated because many of the people, we talked about it because someone wrote in about her brother. They had to specifically mention autism because they described everything, and they're like, okay, but like, why? And she's like, well, he's autistic. And they're like, oh, well, that makes sense. But you don't normally, you don't want to just say the magic word. That's what she was trying to do.
I know someone who got interrogated about the same thing.
Yeah.
Where they said they had autism, and then they all of a sudden it became like an interrogation, and it was almost like they were trying to prove that they weren't.
Honestly, they should just use, I think this is what Universal does, a third-party service that verifies some sort of medical documents. I know that sucks. Yeah. However, what I saw was people on Reddit, they go, a bunch of people who are mad that the people who are, everyone who's super mad was usually abusing it, right?
Yeah.
They go, you're making them show medical documents. And a bunch of people were like, you think we're not used to showing medical documents?
Yeah, like I want to show a medical document to get the thing that I need, you know?
Yeah. And
like, let me do that. That's the problem. It's like they're not letting anyone do that.
Yeah, they should have just done that and it would have been done. But
like even people with super visible disabilities. I saw a content creator in a wheelchair.
The wheelchair is not DOS. Wheelchair is return time or exit.
No, but still.
So
like,
no, but here's the problem. They were never supposed to give DOS, but the cast members were just like, oh, I'll just give you DOS. And then people got used to it. Whereas when you use a mobility device, you're supposed to get the return time and all these other things. DOS is meant for mental disabilities.
But did they get rid of both situations?
No.
Or did they ruin both situations? They might have ruined both.
They did a return time thing.
They might have affected both because I think they also were.
There's 3 systems now.
Okay.
So there's.
Because I know a lot of people were also very rarely. I feel like it was more common in the past than it is now, but you would hear about people in like the kind of late 2000s being like, oh yeah, I just brought my friend in a fake wheelchair and we got on everything, sort of thing. Like,
but what are you going to do about that? Like make them stand up, and if they, like, so.
But that kind of seems like what they're doing. But here's
the thing. If you are in a wheelchair, right, and there are no other issues, right? You don't have like a mental disability that would prevent you from waiting in a long line.
Yeah.
If the line can accommodate you, you don't need anything, right? So California Adventure, everything is wheelchair accessible. So they don't have the exit return. Unless you need, like, if you need the transfer, then you can go to like, kind of how Space Mountain has the moving vehicle. because you need a little more time or whatever.
Right.
But people who can get up and walk, they just can't walk around a theme park all day. They get in the regular line. And I think that's fair, right? Because if you're not being prevented from doing something everyone else can do, it's about equality.
Yeah, right.
Even though, like, you know, people deserve a little consolation prize sometimes for being dealt some annoying card, right?
Right.
But so that's what that's for. In Disneyland, if you use a mobility device, and that's, again, it's only a physical disability, you get you go to the Space Mountain exit, right? That kind of thing. And there's the special queue. If you have some sort of autism, the thing with the line thing, the anxiety doesn't give you a pass anymore.
Right.
We talked about it here.
I think you still can get anxiety at Universal. Yeah.
So I think anxiety can be very easily abused because it's just you talking about it, because it's not a very visible thing.
Right.
The thing with anxiety is
but I think if you're diagnosed by a therapist and you have a certain type of, because there's lots of anxiety disorders.
It doesn't get you DOS anymore.
Right. But at Universal, you can, if you have a certain threshold.
So I think the reason they did autism specifically, and they call it learning disabilities, is because part of that, I'm generalizing a lot right now. Not just.
Yeah, you're just generally speaking.
Yeah. It's like, it's hard for someone with autism, for some people with autism, to like understand the concept of waiting in a line.
Yeah.
And it just does not work in their brain.
Or the line might be overstimulated.
Yeah. It doesn't compute with their brain, or it's, I don't want to say like misfire. Like, you know,
sure.
It's just like
depending on
it's a lot going on.
We're talking about a specific type of
whereas like,
person.
You know, a lot of us have anxiety. I know there's like really severe anxiety, but it's kind of like, part of anxiety is like learning to overcome your anxiety. You can learn to overcome it and medicate it and all that. And it's tough, but there are ways to do that. It's not like this thing that's like, that's it, you know? And that's kind of why it's a little weird that it still has a time limit, but they upped the DOS to 180 days instead of 60. Because like your autism's not getting cured in 6 months.
Right.
Where it used to be 60 days or something. Or 90. So now it's
not
like
cured, but like changing. Yeah,
no,
making it sound like it's like a
but that's
bad
the
thing.
joke where it's 180 days, maybe it's gone.
100%. Yeah.
So it's at least they did that where you get over the hurdle, you have the 6 months, but that's what that's for. And then there's one for like people with like Crohn's disease and things like that. It's a return the line pass, and your party can choose to wait, and you can go to the bathroom, and you come to a return point. They've said it's awkward. And it's odd and a little stressful, but it's not like terrible. It's
you have like all eyes on you. It can kind of feel like a little weird. I feel like,
they haven't completely figured it out.
Walked into it,
but
yeah, it's almost like they should be consulting some of these people with disabilities about the freaking disability program.
But the
why
way
are they not doing that though?
The way
like, that's pissing me off. Like, why are they working on all these things and then not actually working with the people about these things?
I think this has to do with like Disney management sometimes being out of touch.
Oh, 100%.
Because remember the whole
100%.
Vaguely speaking, the when cast members were giving out Genie Plus to each other, and they were like, "You guys do this?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we all. I thought
it's like, have you been to the theme park that you manage, bro?
I thought we all knew, and it wasn't a secret.
Yeah.
Like I thought that. I thought it was just known that cast members like every now and then like, here's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
The problem was people were giving out like 15 to their friends.
Yeah.
Instead of just 3, which is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
No, they were giving out 3. They were just patient 0.
Yeah.
And then there were other issues, but so yeah. Anyways, it could be improved, but I think it did need to be overhauled because there are a bunch of little teenagers being like, I have anxiety.
Well, also there's like a lot of like the live streamers, the TikTok live streamers are using all these systems like crazy.
Listen, dude, straight up, I've been prescribed anxiety medication, but I've never had an issue waiting in line. So not that, you shouldn't either. It's like, we all have it. It does different things to people.
Yeah.
But like, whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy how like bad they messed up the system. It's crazy. It's crazy that people like cannot get into it. Like that part is wild. I totally get you changing the system to be like, well, depending on what kind of ailment or disability or like how you are as a person or whatever it is, like giving a different tier or a different type of offering that is great and that makes sense, but like it's wild to me that like people just can't get it. That is wild.
I think I've heard for the most part you can get it. It's just annoying, which it shouldn't be.
No, yeah,
But-
it should not be.
Yeah, but
Very
you know,
disappointing.
but yeah, the main point is DOS was never meant to be used for physical disabilities, and then cast members will just do it because it was so easy for them.
Yeah,
They just go, okay, check the box, and they're done. And then it's just like, yeah, okay. Like my cousin had a blood clot issue, and they're like, oh, here's DOS, but they should have just given her the exit return
right.
or the return time, which is the
Right.
exit return. So it was like, yeah. Anyways,
No, totally.
yep. So and second thing, I know we've been econ episodes, they're cool.
Yeah, we got to speed through this.
Oh, she's been
Yeah,
around a
we're-
while, so I think she's listened to our Deconomics episode. We did their financial report once.
No way.
Yeah, like their quarterly financials. That was fun.
That's funny.
The Chapek era. Emily from YouTube writes in, congrats on your upcoming nuptials, Rain. He is listening.
Yeah.
See you real soon. As for the episodes, I volunteer as tribute. If you need a guest, not sure what I would offer, but I can try. So right now, I'm trying to see. Is it so hard to just show me a calendar?
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I don't know who started the bit, but all of us being like, "What do you got on 31st?" I got nothing.
So
Sorry, Rain.
okay.
I don't know if that started as an actual bit or not, but I
It
ran
did,
with
it
it.
did.
Okay, I ran with
It
it.
did. So today's the 5th. So we got you, and then it should be Freddie
Yeah,
week
yeah.
after. I'm hoping Jeff one of the weeks after that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then not sure on one of them. I know it's more or less confirmed. We're gonna do the Disneyland while pregnant episode. With a
fun.
guest, 2 guests. Only one has been pregnant, but
Well, you didn't give me much of a heads up notice. I would have kind of prepared for you.
yeah. So that's gonna happen, and then, oh yeah, we still got to do one more after that, and then Rain will be back. It's a lot.
That is a lot.
Wait, no, he'll be back on the 9th.
Surprised you guys didn't do like a 24-hour marathon and just like bang out a bunch of episodes together.
It's the news and the weird rights and whatever.
Yeah. No, for sure.
We've done that for like he was going on a 2-week vacation, so we did like 2 episodes back to back. Like when I go on a honeymoon, like I feel like I'll record the week of my wedding,
Yeah.
because and then just record like twice, go on my honeymoon, come back and record. Like
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't think I wouldn't want to miss, you know,
Yeah. For sure.
because I have a streak. Knock on wood.
Got to keep that going,
Yeah.
baby.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for writing in. Emily, I'm going to be honest. I was thinking of topics for you earlier. We'll revisit this. If it doesn't happen now, maybe someday in the future. But let me cook.
Let him cook.
Let me cook. This here's our Big Thunder topic of the week. For the love of theme parks. So, we've talked about this a lot. Does Kirk like theme parks? Do I like theme parks? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Yeah. Let's get
All
to
right.
the bottom of
We're
this.
going to find out. And I thought, who better than you, who loves theme parks and is very harsh on Disneyland?
Yeah.
Because Freddie loves theme parks, but Freddie loves them very,
He's Disneyland pilled. He's
Yeah.
Disney pilled.
but he's also, you have more hot takes, I think,
Yeah.
right? And Freddie's very, I'm going to call it scientific about theme parks.
Yes.
And I don't need to get
he
scientific
approaches-
today.
Yeah, he approaches like I approach it from like a romantic aspect. He approaches it from like a boardroom aspect. He's like, well, he like talks about like new rides and stuff. Like, well, this is going to be really great for the park.
And it's
This is
pushing
gonna be really
this
great
technology
for-
forward.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other
Which
conversation.
is a whole other conversation. And
So
that's a great aspect. And that's why I love my friendship with Freddie. Because it's great talking about that stuff. Because even if I disagree or agree or whatever, it doesn't matter. His just way of approaching things is so different. And it's great to see how he approaches it. Whereas I, a filmmaker, an artist, a storyteller, I approach things very romantically. Like, how do I feel? Like, I don't care about how it looks on paper. How does it make me feel? Because
Yeah.
there could be like the newest ride with the newest high tech, and it could be the most expensive thing ever. And I would rather spend my time riding the oldest thing with the lowest tech because it just makes me go wee, as opposed to the other thing, which I just go, very impressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I could sit here and analyze the Donkey Kong coaster with Freddie, but Freddie's not going to be like, here's why you should care in your heart. He probably can.
Yeah.
But that's the conversation I have with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because I'm going to be the one to tell you.
And
like, yeah.
There was 100% the option to have both of you, and then we'd be here for 6 hours.
Oh,
and that's
100%.
why I didn't do that.
100%.
So, Freddie, if you're wondering why you're not here for this one, it's because we would just be here tomorrow.
Yeah. Because I would just be fighting him the whole time.
That too.
Yeah.
That's a separate thing. So let's start though. Why do we even love Disneyland? Because is that where all this started with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I also did kind of grow up going to a lot
I went to Legoland. I went to
Legoland. I went to SeaWorld. I went to Knott's. Really, it was Six Flags and Universal that I didn't really go to because I was a SoCal kid, like Southern.
I think
Orange
a lot
County.
of people don't realize you're a South OC kid.
Yeah,
which is wild.
I'm a South
because
OC
you're
kid,
not
and
South
now I live in like
coded.
North LA.
Yeah, we've swapped.
How am I not South OC coded? I'm very curious about this.
Oh, okay. You are when you forget.
I am when I don't call things a waterfall and I call it a birdie.
I hate that. I hate that so much. You know what I think it is? I think your knowledge of the existence of certain things, and definitely OG cultural things.
I'm more cultured than your typical South OC person. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. There are certain things you don't know about, but you're also young.
Yeah.
Like certain things you say, I'm like, you don't even know. He's not there yet. One day, but that's okay. Because we've all been. I mean, you're not that much younger than me, but you are. You're Gen Z.
Is it because I don't like exist in the South OC bubble? Like
no.
mentally?
I'm talking about LA. Like you shot past the San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah.
And that's a huge like cultural area.
Yeah.
Where we talk about it a lot with some listeners who are from there. It's its own thing. That's like we don't tell Californians we're from LA. We tell just other people from other states like I'm from LA because they don't know. Right.
Yeah.
But we are definitely
from
not
You're
LA
like,
people.
listen, we're from San Gabriel County.
Like, no, we'll just say like Whittier and like
we're from Whittier, we're
means.
from Montebello, we're from Pico. Yeah.
So the San Gabriel Valley is its own thing, but even like LA, just like old school things or like, dude, you're like the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
My first Dodgers game, like
which is crazy.
2 weeks ago.
And it's especially back in the day. It wasn't Dodgers is not a rich man's game.
No.
It maybe now everything's just more expensive, but like everyone goes to Dodgers games.
Yeah.
You don't generally go because or especially 20 years ago, right? You didn't go because you couldn't afford it. You just didn't go because it was like, who wants to go there? It's getting there is the worst part, right?
Yeah.
So certain things like that where you're like, you're still learning LA.
Yeah, I know. I
fine.
definitely am. Especially because when I moved to LA, it was August of 2020.
Yeah.
So for the first year, I didn't get to see anything. For the first year, I just got to get the layout of the San Fernando Valley. That's pretty much all I got to do. I pretty much just got to figure out like how close everything was, where all the cities are, and things like that. And then once things opened, it was like, okay, I know where Burbank is. Like I see that there's a restaurant in Burbank. I know where that is. Oh, there's a bar and it's West LA. Like I know what direction I'm going. I know what
joke
that
is
area
you're almost
You know
not
what I mean?
even in LA. You're in the valley.
I know.
Like you send us something and it's like Topanga. And we're like, dude,
Like that's the valley.
get out
Yeah,
of here.
it's far.
Literally Sun Valley.
Yeah.
Anything San Fernando. No.
Too far.
Yeah. Like
Meanwhile, I'll drive to San Clemente if you guys
which is
ask me.
crazy.
If you guys ask me to go to San Juan or San Clemente, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Drive 2 hours.
So you always have something to do down there.
Yeah.
Like even today. Where'd you go?
Yeah, I went to Old Town Orange. I went to the Orange Circle.
So
yeah, because I went to go.
Orange is close to here, which is nice.
It is pretty close.
So
pretty
yeah,
close. It's 30 minutes.
in the traffic, but dude, on the week, I've gone there on the weekends like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So, anyways, what is your point of all of this?
How did we even get here? Oh, because you didn't go to
OC.
Six Flags and Universal.
Yeah.
So it's like just the OC vibe is very different. Or growing up in OC, and it's very different culturally. Like guys, forget the red hats. That's not. I think that's what people see OC as, and there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of red hat, a lot of guns, a lot of like evangelical churches. But I think that's not really the gist of OC.
No.
That's a very outward facing thing of OC.
There's like the rich white part, gated community corner of OC, and that's where I grew
and
up.
then
And that was, it was crazy to go from that to then going to like birthday parties and quinces, like with like my like Latin side of the family, and then like having family coming over from El Salvador and stuff like that. So like very early on, my bubble got popped in OC. And so I always, like, while living in OC, would just see certain OC things and be like, yeah, this is weird.
yeah, because like
I knew things were not normal and stuff. And also it made me uncomfortable the way that kids acted around me, because they were like, yeah, we're all just white kids from OC. We could just say racist casual things, right? And I'd be like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
So yeah, the culture is just very different.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just so interesting. And I think OC is not a homogenous culture. You have the Santana, Orange, North
They're all
Tustin.
very different.
Well, that whole area is one type of vibe. It's not as like...
I wouldn't even say. I would not say.
No, it's not as affluent as like the rest of Orange County.
Oh, sure. That's yeah.
That's not a culture, but
all those
it's a different
pockets are
vibe.
like so different.
Yeah. And then there's like Westminster, and you get very Vietnamese in certain parts, right? There's like
Westminster Garden Grove is super Vietnamese.
And then
Irvine is like very like Asian with money, and then new builds. And
so
stuff
Irvine,
like that. But then there's also old Irvine, which is like old crusty white people.
But like Irvine and Lake Forest are where you get into with South County.
Yeah,
because north is like Brea and stuff too. Brea is in Orange County.
Yeah, I was South County. I grew up in Rancho Santa Margarita, which is the most corner armpit corner of South OC.
But it's not an armpit. That's the thing.
It's not an armpit. It's gorgeous. It's amazing.
But it's just suburbs.
Yeah.
Like
I watched my dad run into the first Salvadorian person like that I had ever seen outside of my family.
It's very
when
like,
I was like 13.
It's very just like
Rancho.
I would call that like a hardcore middle class.
Yeah,
because you can get affordable homes there.
Right.
But there's nothing there.
That's what I've always described to people. I'm like, I wouldn't say I was borderline middle class, upper middle class. I wouldn't say I was definitively upper middle class, because I knew the kids that were upper middle class. I went to school with them. I knew I was not upper middle class.
And then you get into Newport, which is just like where your wealth. But Newport is like a transplant town.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
People go to Newport to be rich.
It really, really is.
And then there are the people who've just lived on Balboa for like 50 years. But
if you want like the rich that have like been around, it's like Coto de Casa, Rancho Mission Viejo.
I didn't even know Rancho Mission Viejo existed, but yeah, Coto de Casa.
That's where my girlfriend's from.
I know.
Rancho
That's
Mission
a whole
Viejo.
thing. But
anyways,
then
oh no, we're still going.
There's one more.
This is about to be a
and then you pass Newport, and then you're beach bum.
Dana Point.
Dana Point is this weird, we have money, but we don't care we have money.
Dana Point's a weird spot, but I'm very excited that money's getting put into it to like turn it into a destination, because now that Truly Pizza is down there, I need more excuses to go down to Dana Point, because
I'm
cow.
slowly falling in love with Dana Point. My parents live down there.
It's gorgeous.
Capistrano Beach.
The new yacht parking situation thing and the new resort is going to be nuts. Because
like $3 billion or something.
Because I've always thought all of my like high school years, like anytime friends would suggest going over there and stuff, I'd be like, why? There's nothing over there. And then every time I'd be there, I would just be like, man.
You're talking about the harbor, right?
The harbor has always had so much potential.
Yeah.
So much potential. So it's just dead. And there's nothing hot there. And so I'm so glad they're putting money into that. Also, another thing I'm excited about too, the San Juan Capistrano, the River Street Marketplace. Have you heard about this?
No, but I've been in like the Los Rios district.
Yeah. So in the Los Rios district, you know where the petting zoo is? Directly across from the petting zoo, right next to the train tracks, they're building a whole giant new marketplace. Brand new, from scratch. 30 plus businesses are going in there.
Whoa.
It got delayed a couple times. I think they're finally River Street Marketplace, and they're finally opening it in September. I'm very excited. Very, very excited.
But like,
it sounds dope.
That's where you get, it's like the weird beach bum area. Like there are people with money. I said it to Rain. People with big houses or nice houses driving like Toyota RAV4s, because they're like, I don't care about Lambos. Like, I just want to go surfing and ride my bike.
It's an interesting vibe. Yeah.
Like there is around the corner from like my parents' house, there is a park July 4th. It's a very nice area, right? People at the park, you could see the fireworks out on the ocean. Everyone went at like 8 a.m. and left their chairs there, but then they all went home. They just left everything there. And then they just went back for it later. Whereas like we went to
Crazy.
Salt Creek, which has a lot of people coming in from around, and everyone's there all day. You get there at 5 a.m., whatever, as opposed to like, the nice neighborhood people are just like, we all know each other. We're not going to steal each other's crap, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
And San Clemente has like two things to it.
The other interesting thing too about Orange County versus LA is that everyone that I know and knew from Orange County knows LA. At least a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? At least a little bit. Everyone I know from LA, whether they're a transplant, whether they've been living there their whole lives, doesn't know a single thing about Orange County.
This is what I knew about Orange County.
I'm talking, it's
Like,
I know that Irvine
I'll do it for
exists and Disneyland's there. I mean, people don't even. Here's the crazy thing: people from LA don't even know Knott's Berry Farm exists.
That's a little weird.
Isn't that crazy?
That's not true.
Dude,
they're not from LA, dude.
You.
LA transplants. That's a whole other situation.
Okay, that is true. It mainly is transplants.
Yeah.
But transplants do not know Knott's Berry Farm exists.
Because they just think of Highland Park.
And the locals that have been living there their whole lives, they know Knott's Scary Farm exists.
Yeah.
They don't know that. So for the rest of the year, it's a functioning theme park.
So
that's my
all I knew, and then we're gonna move on.
Yes.
Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
Brea, I don't count.
No, yeah, no.
We're in the hills, Pomona already. Disneyland, the Cube. To me, Orange County truly began at the Cube. When you see the Cube at the 5, that's when you're like, okay, now I'm in Orange County.
I'm in OC.
Because right after that, like, this is my view. The Cube, Irvine Spectrum, Fashion Island, maybe South Coast Plaza. But even then, that's like, you figure that out later.
Yeah.
I had gone to Laguna Beach like once.
Yeah.
I'd never been to Dana Point. What are you doing there?
Yeah, no, there's no reason to go.
It's beautiful. Point. I love it. But like you wouldn't go.
Yeah.
And then that was Orange County. Oh, Newport Beach, because like I had family there. But again, Newport Beach, like Coast, Fashion Island. Crystal Cove, never been there. I've been there now. But
I also think if you want to throw in Angel Stadium, people kind of like
Anaheim is Anaheim though. It's like
yeah.
You know, I have this joke with Kimmy where she grew up in Orange County and we were at Rain's house. And she was like, Rain, what's the street behind your house? And I'm like, that's an alley, which is very LA.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, we have alleys in Laguna. I'm like, they're named streets. That like two cars fit down.
They're tiny because it's a beach town.
But
also another thing, it just like escaped my head. You said something about Anaheim.
The Cube?
No. Something about Angel Stadium and Anaheim.
It's like very LA.
What would you say? So you were talking about the
alleyways.
Streets, the alleyways and the streets.
Very LA, Anaheim.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. One last thing on this topic, and then we'll move on. This for people around the world and stuff, right? You know what makes me more upset than when people call Disneyland Walt Disney World or vice versa? I feel like everyone calls everything Walt Disney World. They were like, oh, Walt Disney World in Paris. Oh, there's like the Walt Disney World in California. Oh, I've heard people. If people just like don't know anything, they'll just say Magic Kingdom or they'll just say Walt Disney World. It's crazy how no one defaults to Disneyland. But what drives me even more crazy is when people say, oh, Disneyland in LA. That drives me nuts.
And there's an Instagram tag, location tag that says Disneyland, Los Angeles. I'm like, no.
It drives me nuts. So nuts.
Yeah. Oh, I did know one other thing about Orange County. Massive Ducks fan my whole life. We used to have season tickets.
Nice.
But again, we would go up the 60 to the 57 through Brea and Diamond Bar and then end up off of Ball Road.
Right. Yeah.
We weren't even taking the 5.
Yeah,
so
you're peaking. You're taking a little baby step into Orange County.
Yeah, and then we get the hell out of there. So
anyways, I used to be from Orange County. Now I live in LA.
That's which is wild.
The last 30 minutes.
Yeah. So why do we even love Disneyland? I think number one, nostalgia.
Yes.
You grew up going there. You went as a kid. Even if you went once as a kid. My uncle hasn't been since he was like 8 years old, and he still knows what pirate smells like.
Yeah.
So you want to go back to the place
Disneyland
that you had
is
memories in.
A nostalgia machine. Because you're exactly right. Like people remember people who are not theme park people they won't remember like, oh yes, Batman the ride. I remember taking my grandkids. Like no one remembers things from Six Flags, right? If you're just like the uncle, right? Because there's always I always like to describe like the uncle test, right? If you pass the uncle test, you know you've won. Your uncle's not gonna like describe Super Nintendo World. They're gonna be like, oh, there was the place,
the Mario thing.
Like, oh, the Mario thing. We waited forever. But if you were like Pirates, oh yeah, Pirates. I remember taking your wife or my wife for the first time on Pirates. Like they remember, like people remember things from Disneyland.
And I think Jeff was making fun of. He thought I was talking about the Disney difference, but there is one.
Yeah.
So there is this. I think there's a cohesive theme and vibe to Disneyland. I can't put my finger on it, but Pirates feels like Haunted Mansion. I don't know why. Is it just from association or is there something there?
I think what it is the Disney difference is just timelessness. I think that's really what it is. Because
is it because there was no IP before?
Yeah, there was no IP, and then now, ironically, those things have in and of themselves become IP and become timeless. They picked things that were already timeless. They picked like fairy tales and just like kind of broad concepts, and then like just kind of like just like anchors of genres like pirates and exploring through the jungle and stuff like that, and cowboys. Like these things that are just like never gonna go away. These like timeless, ghosts, these timeless things. And then they just went all in on making their versions of those things to the point where you associate with that. You forever associate even down to a word with Disney. A perfect example is, I would say, Figment, because Figment has always been a word, but now if you say the word Figment, a lot of people are going to think of a purple little dragon. And it's because they took this thing that like this just very broad general concept, and then they made their own version of it. I think that's the Disney difference, because if you look at all the other parks, nothing's sacred. Nothing's sacred in like almost any theme park except for, I guess, Efteling is like really the only theme park that's out there that has.
And that's what, Denmark or Netherlands?
I can never remember. But Efteling is what ultimately inspired Disneyland, and Efteling is also one of the most successful theme parks in the world and one of the most
Netherlands
positively regarded theme parks in the world. I would say that the Disney difference is the Universal problem. Universal's the opposite. To Universal, nothing is sacred. And I feel like all of that culminated, ironically, with this year, with the 60th anniversary of the Tram Tour, because what they've been doing is they've been offering like QR codes and little signs and placards and stuff like that across the park, being like, hey, look at this thing that used to be here in the past. Look at something that used to be part of the Tram Tour in the past.
Oh.
And they're all better than
like
the
peek into the past on
than
your
the
phone.
things that they're currently offering. A lot of the things are better than the things they're currently offering. And so now you're kind of just like showing people like, yeah, look, we got rid of this thing that people loved that was great for something that's now worse. Great example, Back to the Future ride. No one had a problem with the Back to the Future ride. Everyone loved it. They got rid of it. Now it's Simpsons. And so many people I know are like, no, we're skipping Simpsons. We're not doing Simpsons. People don't like the Simpsons ride. People probably liked it in the first 2 years of it opening.
The weird
back
thing,
when there was that hype. But yeah.
I'm going to come back to Disney in a second.
Because Back to the Future is a timeless thing.
Here's what's
quite
annoying
literally, because
about Back
it's
to the
about,
Future.
they took the concept of time travel and they made a universal thing about it. And then they capitalize on that. And then that was a thing. Simpsons is like, well, what is the generalized thing? Family drama? Jaws is another great example. The fear of sharks. They took that broad general thing and then they just ran with it.
The thing with Back to the Future, though, it shouldn't be as big as it is. Right? It was just a trilogy of movies. Right? It was 3?
Yeah.
That's it. That's really it for Back to the Future. Maybe there's some stupid video game that was also canon for some reason, right? But it doesn't matter. It's 3 movies. But it has, I would only call it a cult following, not in the way like cult following is a small, dedicated following. It's that if you like people are just fans of Back to the Future, and they're insane fans of it for some reason. And not like, oh, it's bad or anything. I don't understand the Ghostbusters fandom as much as I understand the Back to the Future fandom.
Yeah.
But it's this really diehard fan base, and it always grows. Like, people become fans of it.
Because those movies are really, really good.
So then, like, the
It's very
ride,
simple,
it should have just
actually.
stayed.
They're
But-
really, really good. And also, I went to New York. I saw the Back to the Future musical.
Oh,
and
friend of the show, Sienna, loves that thing. Her
Yeah.
dad, Charlie,
because
is
it's a
he was
great
born on
story.
Back to the Future Day.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, in
But
the
yeah,
80s.
it's a great story. And the thing is, Disney also makes great movies. You go back and watch those old classic movies, they're awesome. Like,
So-
there's a reason why, like, they have staying power and stuff like that. There's a reason why they keep their relevancy. I always say this, like, and this especially applies for horror films. If you're ever confused why there's like 13, Freddy versus Jason movies, or you're like, why are there like 27 Halloween movies, or why are there, go back and watch the first one. If there's any film series that you're confused about, like, why are there so many, go back and watch the first one. They did something.
Star Wars.
Star Wars is a great example.
People
you go back
just
and watch
want
the first
more,
one.
and they hope that the next one is like the first one, right?
God, I love showing Star Wars for the first time to people. It's the best.
Yeah, there is some magic to it.
Yeah.
There's this joke
There's a
that
magic
there's
of watching a movie that is just so great, and then someone who has never seen it, they finally sit down and watch it, and they go, "Oh, I get it."
there's
That's
this
the best
joke
feeling.
though that I've heard that Star Wars was never good. And if you think about it, they're not masterpieces, right? Of like
No.
masterpieces of film. No, but they're great.
Yeah.
They do this thing to you, right?
Yeah,
like
they're great.
You watch it, and
it has the sauce.
you hear the lightsaber turn on. You're like, I'm in.
yeah.
you
it
hear a
just-
TIE
it just-
fighter
it
go
just
by.
has it because it has the sauce. That's
The Force.
why. And that is the difference between me and someone like Freddie. And I'm not talking bad about Freddie, but I always like to talk about things having that sauce, because you really can have that secret special little sauce that just explains everything away, Because yeah, sure, some things on paper, the first Star Wars absolutely is a movie that barely came together.
Yeah.
Barely came together,
was
especially if
saved by
you hear the
George
story
Lucas's wife.
in the edit. Yeah, if you hear the stories about the edit, that movie barely came together. But it just, all the pieces just come together and work perfectly.
So that's the thing about Disneyland. I think the cohesive theming is just guilty by association. You just experience these things together. Haunted Mansion, next to Pirates, more or less the same Imagineers came up with all of these. So there is the secret sauce that, or like, like a unifying thread that goes through them. And you
Yeah.
can get into like the Lafitte stuff, but no one knows about that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's that these things, you did experience them together, and that gives you this cohesive feeling. However, part of experiencing everything in Disneyland is it doesn't feel disjointed. Galaxy's Edge feels like it belongs in Disneyland.
Absolutely.
Like, regardless
It
of
100%
anything else you're
is.
going to say.
Yeah.
Like, I know people like, why is it here? I'm like, no, it makes way more sense here than Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
And I think Freddie was like, no, they designed it to fit into Disneyland because Disneyland is sacred. And then they're like,
Yeah.
we'll just throw it in Hollywood Studios. No one cares.
But it does work.
Yeah.
It absolutely does work.
So, yeah.
It's so smart too, because it kind of like is the anchor. It's anchored to like 3 different lands, and it is this perfect thing of like Critter Country. It's like, well, there's a lot of aliens and critters.
You
Which
don't even have to
it's a missed opportunity that they didn't add some critters in that one little walkway.
you could hear them.
But you can hear them, which is not nothing.
But it's
and
like
then
foliage
fantasy,
and-
it is a fantasy science fiction western.
But
And
it's
so
still
putting
Big
it-
Thunder Trail, so it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the rocks, and even like you can see Big Thunder Mountain from Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, and it
And it just
is
looks like,
one of
oh,
those
that
spires.
spire's orange.
No, it's so great. They like, regardless of my thoughts on Galaxy's Edge, they fit it into Disneyland perfectly.
Yeah.
And also it made Disneyland a better park. Because the Rivers of America refurb is one of the one of the greatest things the Imagineers have ever done to that place.
Yeah, because it was just boring before. There was nothing going on.
It was boring. And now it feels like, oh my, I want to go on.
This
It's
grand waterfall
gorgeous.
and everything.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's amazing. Like things like that, or like things like the Epcot, what do they call it? They have a term for it, the light show that they have now. It's called something.
The lighting package?
The lighting package. Whatever the lighting package is, they called it something. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
whatever they call it, just the lighting package they put on Spaceship Earth, also one of the best things I've ever done.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Amazing. When you experience, did you get to see it when you went?
Yeah.
Did you like sit down and like with the music and like watch a lighting package, like watch a mini show?
Yeah.
Amazing. Which one did you see?
Who
Was
knows
it Colors of the Wind? Was it Rainbow Connection?
Oh, wait. Are there lyrics?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh, was it?
I saw
was
it going, though.
the medley, just the theme,
Maybe,
the
yeah.
Epcot theme.
It was still great.
It's also great.
But it syncs up to the Harmonious?
No,
What's it called? Whatever the fireworks show was?
Illuminous. I think it's a new one now.
Oh, maybe.
I think it's Illuminous.
Yeah, they all sound
But
so.
whatever. Yeah,
But it syncs up to that, too.
latest one. Oh yeah, I think that Illuminous now.
When you
does.
see it in the
Because
distance,
Harmonious didn't. Harmonious, the show would end, and then the Epcot and then Spaceship Earth would like light back up.
oh no, this was like while it was going, like Spaceship Earth was just going.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because you see it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that they did that with Illuminous.
So
But yeah, little things like that, amazing.
yeah, I guess that's they. Every time they send up a balloon for sightlines and like plant a tree, they cut it in the shape of a Matterhorn, but it's like they think about how it's going to affect the rest of the park. Whereas like Despicable Me is next to France or whatever, right? Like,
You want to know why I think that is? I started thinking
with
about
Disney?
this with Disneyland. I think another reason why Disneyland is just like the best theme park ever. It's the best laid out. It just works.
I did
It
bring
just
up
makes
like
sense.
Disneyland is probably like subjectively, but like not objectively, like actually objectively, but like you start ranking things and points and whatever, the best theme park.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the reason why is because for 15, almost 15 years, Walt, the guy behind it all, was going there regularly.
Get an apartment
Because the
there.
thing,
And he was building a bigger apartment there.
yeah, and the thing is, like Disneyland was not. It was bad. It was a bad park when it first opened. It was a very, very bad theme park because they didn't know what they were doing. They were doing this all for the first time, and as time went on, Walt would go and go and go and go and realize things. At first, it was the simple stuff like, man, we should have drinking water, which is crazy that they didn't have on opening day. But then it became other things like, well, we should move this here because that'll be better for the guest experience. And we should do this instead of this because that'll be better for the guest experience. He was going as a guest. The problem is now you have all these people making these decisions that aren't going as guests. And I remember once someone wrote I think it was an article on Mice Chat where they were talking about remember how bad, like 2015, 2014, how bad the parking situation got at Mickey and Friends? Like
2017 was the peak of that.
The peak.
Where you'd go on Twitter to see if there was parking.
Horrendous. It was horrendous. And someone on Mice Chat wrote an article where they were like, here's the thing. All of these executives, all of these people, they come once every 6 months, maybe, to check on how are things going at Disneyland, and they go through valet at Grand Californian. So for all of these years, they're not knowing and they're not seeing and they're not hearing how big of a giant mess the parking structure is.
Well, there's the whole thing on
But if Walt was around, that would have been fixed in a week.
the big meeting with Bob Iger, and someone asked him, have you used the reservation system? And he was like, no, I haven't. And they're like, you really should, because it sucks. And
so that's what to me is frustrating about being. I think that to me that is the most frustrating part about being a Disney fan is that all of the decision makers, they don't get it. They don't know what it's like going to the park. So the park
they can't do anything.
so the park experience is getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse as time goes on. And then they also don't go on the rides and they don't truly love the rides and they don't truly get the rides. They don't get why the rides that are great and that people love and are beloved, why those were great in the first place. They look at things very surface level.
It seems like Josh D'Amaro kind of gets it.
I think he kind of gets it. And I'm very curious to see what happens this D23 because This is kind of like the first D23 of like, okay, I'm Josh Tomorrow, I'm running things, and Bob Iger's got my back.
That was the thing.
So let's
After
see.
Chapek left, Josh Tomorrow was, I think even before, he let some things like very subtle, very vague of like, there is something I want to do or a couple things I want to do. I can't.
Yeah. So
now, I don't know. I don't want to give him too much credit. He's another suit.
I don't want to give him
But then there's people like Ken Potrock, president of Disneyland Resort. He's always there. He probably has no power anymore.
But when I went to the press event, he couldn't even say Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway correctly. So,
but like, I don't even think he has.
I don't know.
I don't even think he has any power at this point.
He does, but I think it's just like a different kind of thing. I just
like,
also think
he seems like he runs like the cast member parties.
Yeah, there's also just too many cooks in the kitchen too. That's a whole other story. But I think a great example is like about them just like not getting stuff is the Country Bear Jamboree. I tweeted about this and like a lot of people agreed the treat did pretty well. So there's the fact that they missed the entire point of the Country Bears, which was this is a funny show about this main bear, Henry, trying to put on a respectable show. And all of these bears who are just absolute, just like buffoons or just goofballs or just flat out jerks are, okay, fine, I'll play my little fiddle and I'm going to sing a song. And there's nothing wrong with the song. And then right at the end, I'm going to throw in an innuendo or a dirty joke, or I'm going to mess up the song, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And it's Henry trying to be like, oh, okay, let's move on. And that's what was funny is like, he's just trying to put on this respectable show and all these bears keep messing it up. So now they just perform Disney covers perfectly, which that's fine if they perform Disney covers. That's not the problem. The problem is you miss what was funny and fun about the show. And now it's a boring show. I saw so many people on Twitter saying the show's kind of boring now because nothing goes wrong. And what's so frustrating is the 2 times where things go wrong, if you watch the opening day crowd reactions, get the biggest laughs. Because they are in the spirit of the original show.
So, speaking of Disney movies, old stuff, we have that connection, right? Still. Yeah. Like, it's always been there. We whine about IP, and yeah, they do shove it.
But it's always been there. Frontierland, Walt was one step away from calling it Davy Crockett Land.
Yeah.
Adventureland was one step away from being named after his multi-Oscar award-winning documentary series, True Life Adventures. Tomorrowland, that's another story.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. The IPs have always been there since day one.
And it's all the movies from... It's not very common for people to like many movies from a company that they recognize. Disney is one of those big companies. People don't know what a Universal movie is, right?
Yeah. I
don't know what Paramount, TriStar, Columbia.
If you were to say, like, name one, I don't think people would.
No. You would guess, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, where did I see the Universal logo? But even that's not really, it's not a Universal movie.
Know a Disney movie.
You know a Spielberg movie.
Right. That is true.
But
you would know a Spielberg movie, but also Spielberg's made movies for all the companies.
So
literally all of them.
You wouldn't know. And
including Disney.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Where Universal, they'll just do whatever. Like Harry Potter's Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Transformers is Paramount.
Yeah.
Paramount / Hasbro. Nintendo is Nintendo.
So I think that's a big thing with Disneyland is like it is this huge vertically integrated thing. And Star Wars has just always been related to it.
Yeah.
It feels like because they brought in Star Tours so early. And then Indiana Jones was there in the 90s. And you just associate them. And now that they have been purchased, it's just like, yeah, it should have been.
Oh, yeah.
If anything, Marvel's the weird outlier.
It is. Yeah.
Marvel doesn't feel like Disney because Marvel is comic books.
Yeah.
And that's its own thing where Star Wars has always been like magic. So it's like.
You want to know something crazy? Indiana Jones, the first movie, was made by Paramount. Iron Man was made by Paramount as well. And there's a couple other movies that I started to hear and thought like, wow, Paramount like really starts a lot of major franchises.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just not at Paramount anymore, which is crazy.
So let's kind of pivot away from Disney.
Yeah.
All right. I think there was one final thing I was going to say about Indy Star. Oh, about just movies? The fact that the third not the next Disney cruise, but the one after it is going to be a Marvel ship.
Which that's wild.
Is that
Also, one other point too that I was gonna make about Disney, I forgot about. Now I just remembered. Found out on a recent. I went on a tour of the Walt Disney Studios, and it was one of the last. I think Sony is the last one I need to do, but I've done Universal, I've done Paramount, I've done Warner Brothers, and now I've done Disney.
Universal, like Tram, or you did another thing?
The Tram.
Okay, that's
The Tram. It still counts.
yeah. The Warner Brothers thing is
Yeah.
it's as accessible as the Universal Tram.
Yeah.
You didn't like call a guy. You know?
Yeah. Paramount too, and also Sony as well. I'm pretty sure. Disney one is. It feels a little harder, but it really isn't. You just go on the D23 website. But if you're a D23 member, you get a discount. Anyways, all that to say, didn't know this. Disney is the only studio to have never been bought out or owned by a higher up company. Like if you think about it, like Universal's gone through so many different ownerships.
Universal's owned by Comcast.
Yeah, but before Comcast, it was owned by another company, and then I think it was owned by another company as well. Paramount's gone through it a ton of different times. Warner Brothers as well was owned by, or still is owned by Turner, I'm pretty sure. Or am I thinking of something else?
No, Warner Brothers was like
Or
Turner.
Viacom.
No, Viacom is Paramount. Warner Brothers was AT&T.
It was.
And then they got spun off into Discovery. Now it's Warner Discovery.
No, but someone else owns them over that. Anyways, all that to say, no one owns Disney. Disney owns everything, which is crazy.
That is crazy. So let's move to Universal, but no, you know what? Should we? Okay, I have a question here. Why do you love theme parks? Do we do that later?
I think we do that later. Let's get back to that.
So Universal
Yes.
is also about movies.
I was just there yesterday.
Yeah, that helped. You said that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about movies. But
now it's not.
Isn't it?
No. Because you know what kind of first it was all about movies, but then with the age of television, with the rise of television, then it became movies and television. Even though they still kept the whole ride the movies thing for a long time, but for a long time it's been movies and TV.
Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, so it's
pretty like
the art of film. Let's call it. Even if film is TV, it's like the art of production.
Yeah. And then Rip Ride Rocket kind of then also took it into, now it's kind of other media because it was about music, but then also about making a music video.
I don't even know what this is.
Rip Ride Rocket is a roller coaster at Universal Studios Florida. And it opened like 20 plus years ago in like either the early aughts or like the late 90s. I think the early 2000s. But yeah, that ride is entirely about music, and then there's a camera and you can like quote unquote make your own music video.
Okay.
So since that point, they've kind of have been about, yeah, exactly. Still kind of the art of filmmaking and stuff like that. Now it just kind of feels like with the Nintendo stuff, is it an homage to multimedia? Is it an homage to storytelling? I want to say it's probably an homage to storytelling. Because here's the interesting thing. Islands of Adventure. Islands of Adventure is a very interesting park the more that you think about it. Because Islands of Adventure has a Dr. Seuss land, right? It has a Dr. Seuss land. It has a like old stories, like classic stories, like Conan the Barbarian, stuff like that. It has the Harry Potter land. It has the Jurassic
Diagon Alley specifically.
No, Hogsmeade.
I thought Hogsmeade is in
Diagon Alley's Florida, Studios Florida.
Oh, so they swapped.
So Harry Potter, Jurassic Park. Then you have the Cartoon Landing, Toon Lagoon, which is like Popeyes, all the comics and stuff. And then you have Marvel Superhero Island. What is the common thread between all of those lands that I just said? They all come from prose. They all come from books, comics, newspapers. They all come from writing. Jurassic Park started as a book series. Harry Potter started as a book series. Dr. Seuss, those are all books. Toon Lagoon, those are all from newspaper comic strips. Marvel, those are all from comic books. And then Conan Barbarian, like all those are like classic stories that have been written about for years and years and years. So it's very interesting that like Universal, like in the 90s was like, let's make this theme park that is like just all this just writing, like it's all from like books and comics and newspapers and stuff like that.
But they didn't theme it that way, and that's why it wasn't. Not that that's the reason, but it flopped initially, right?
It did, because their whole thing was, at first Universal's whole thing was ride the movies, and then with Universal, so the problem was they called it Universal Escape, and no one knew what that was. No one knew, what does Universal Escape mean?
Sounds like an escape room.
Right,
it sounds
but
scary.
back then, what do you think Universal Escape means? Is it like a package, like a ticket package? Is it like a new ride?
Okay.
No one knew that Universal Escape meant, hey, dude, we just built an entire resort. We've got hotels now. We've got City Walk, and we have this other theme park. So now we have 2 theme parks. Yeah, it wasn't until like Harry Potter when people were like, oh my God, how do I get in the Harry Potter land? What's Islands of Adventure? Okay, whatever. Buy a ticket for whatever an Islands of Adventure is. Like, that's what put it on the map finally.
So
yeah, I guess Universal is just like dedicated to the art of storytelling, because it's kind of just like everything. And then now, if we're gonna get even more so, or I guess it still kind of is music videos, because The Weeknd and a lot of music artists have gotten their own mazes at HHN, but that's another form of storytelling. You could argue music, and then also music videos and stuff too.
But see, it is just IP. It's not, there isn't anything cohesive. If there is something cohesive, it's when you get into the high concept of it. Right? But that doesn't give you the touchy-feely while you're there. You can be in Islands of Adventure, be like, yeah, I appreciate that these all came from books, but that doesn't mean anything for you while you're standing there, right?
Yeah. So
you're not thinking of how wonderful books are, because you're not in a book version of this.
Yeah. What is your point you're trying to make with that? Like, are you saying like I'm not attached to, like, no one's attached to the idea of Islands of Adventure as a whole? Because that's definitely not true.
Disneyland has the sauce that you can't describe, right?
Yeah.
California Adventure's weird now, but for a moment, it was like this Golden State, drink your wines and walk down the street and visit through this like beautiful nature, go on the boardwalk, Hollywood, Bugs. There was like to me, like the vibe of California Adventure was golden hour like the outside.
Yeah.
That was the vibe.
I see what you're saying. It's like
there is something there. There was a comment. Now it's like
one giant cohesive vibe.
Yeah, and it was like vaguely California, but California enough where it's like the vibe of California Adventure is like you're outdoors, right?
Yeah.
You're out in the forest. You're out on the pier. You're out in the garden, Bugs Land, right?
Yeah.
You're out in the wharf. You're out in Cars Land, out in the like Route 66. Obviously, yeah, you're outside, but the theme was outside.
Right.
So Islands of Adventure, does it have a theme?
I would say so, yeah.
What's the theme? While you're there physically.
While I'm there, I feel like the theme is like just like traveling to these locales. That's what it feels like. Because when you go to Disneyland, it doesn't really feel like you're like visiting like, whoa, these like far off destinations. You're visiting concepts. Like Tomorrowland is just a concept. Tomorrowland's not a place. You know what I mean? But when you go to Seuss Landing, it's like, oh my God, I'm in the world of Dr. Seuss right now. Right now, I'm in the world of Dr. Seuss. I'm in his imagination. Right now, I'm in the comic books of Marvel. Right.
So that's what I'm saying, though.
Whereas like Adventureland is not like I'm just in a jungle. I'm in a jungle, but anything could happen. Right. So it's like it is a different thing.
But then, okay, so is
thing is, Islands of Adventure has port of entry. Which port of entry really works as an anchor to the whole park and as like your first entryway. And it has like the music in port of entry. Like if you've been and like you're a Universal fan, everyone knows the music to port of entry. It's super iconic and it's super like stuck in your head. And if you hear it, you're like, oh my God, I want to go back to Islands of Adventure. And I also think the layout helps too. Islands of Adventure has a very unique layout that also kind of gives it this, in a weird way, a cohesiveness, so that even though you're visiting these very specific lands, you're always kind of connected at the end of the day to this lagoon. There's this giant lagoon in the center, and you're going around the lagoon. And so you're always kind of anchored to that. And so like you'll like get to a point in the land where you're like, okay, I can see all of the other lands. And it's very fun because like there's not really anything else like that except for maybe Epcot.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like World Showcase.
And World Showcase, right? Which is a whole other different vibe.
So I think with like Islands of Adventure though, it's still like you're just visiting these separate things.
Yes.
So I think what Disneyland is you're kind of visiting a feeling.
Yeah.
A feeling of adventure in the jungle, a feeling of the frontier, a feeling of tomorrow.
It's super romantic.
Yeah.
It's
so
very, very romantic.
It's not
just like, oh my gosh, like outer space and technology. It's like you can just walk into a land and like no one has to explain it to you.
Yeah.
Whereas like Seuss Landing, like you would have to explain that to somebody. But like
Seuss Landing has nothing to do with Conan the Barbarian. And not that Fantasyland doesn't have anything to do with Tomorrowland. But what they have in common is in Fantasyland, you feel like you're visiting magic. And in Tomorrowland, you feel like you're visiting future.
And then if you go to Galaxy's Edge, you're like, well, I'm on an alien planet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm clearly not on Earth. Like, where am I?
And Star Wars, I know it's more and more like an IP lately, but Star Wars is a feeling.
It is a feeling.
It's the music, the sounds.
It's a specific aesthetic.
Yeah. The aesthetic of Star Wars is very like always, for as much as like we can say about Galaxy's Edge, the domed roofs. You're like, yeah, Star Wars.
That's why I think Port of Entry really, really works. Because if you think about Main Street, right? Main Street like is its own vibe, right? It's like we're not really evoking any specific time. It's just like classic old.
They did
American
what they wanted to do.
Town.
It's the feeling of times gone by.
Times gone by, exactly. It's hey, anything can happen here. So let's start off by we're in the past and we're in this timeless little town, right? It's a town that could have existed, might still exist, always will exist, that sort of thing.
Okay, I'm looking at
Port of Entry. What's fun about Port of Entry and why Port of Entry really works, when you walk in, it's everything. It is every kind of, it's almost like they went, hey, what if we made Adventureland an entryway? What if we made all of the Adventurelands an entryway? What if we made every single kind of explanation? Yeah, it's Disney Sea in the way of you can't nail down the aesthetic because it's all the aesthetics.
But then you put Dr. Seuss nearby and it breaks.
Well, no, but that's kind of the fun of it. Is it's like, and now we're in this new land. You round the corner and then boom, we're going.
But you see how the sauce is missing.
No, for sure.
That's what I'm looking for, I guess. Just in this specific.
Oh, Disneyland. Yeah, no, Disneyland like is the best theme park. It has something that no other theme park has, and whatever.
I want to be clear in my goal here. I want to be wrong about Disneyland. Not wrong about it. I want to find.
No, Disneyland.
I want to find the sauce.
Listen, Kirk. Anyone that says Disneyland is not the best is wrong.
They're being contrarian.
They're being contrarian.
Or they don't like it. They just don't like it.
They're wrong. No, they're just wrong. Disneyland is the best.
Which is funny coming from you.
Disneyland is the best.
Because you were the person who would be like, shut up, go to another theme park.
Right. Because you should. You should go to other theme parks.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out here.
Yeah. But Disneyland is the best. And it's because it's the most romantic. It's because it's just concept.
If the rest of Islands of Adventure was like that, well, then it would be Disney Sea. But the thing with Disney Sea is they figured it out anyway. That what's the new thing, Carl? Fantasy Springs.
Fantasy Springs.
It just fits.
Yeah.
And it's like, but this is Arendelle. But it's not. But it is. And their story is it's a spring that sprung.
Yeah.
Right? And so it fits into that vague, adventurous, not quite steampunk, Jules Verne, but not fully Discovery Land.
Yeah.
But again, not heavy-handed because it all just blends. And they figured it out over there.
Yeah.
In a way that like Disneyland kind of did. So.
Right.
But now like Universal Studios.
And in Universal Studios.
Which they don't call them that
is
anymore,
interesting. So Universal, they call it Universal Studios Hollywood, Universal Studios Florida.
But the whole thing is not called that anymore.
Universal Orlando Resort.
Yeah, and Universal Hollywood Resort, which is
yes and no. That's registered, but they haven't started calling it that yet.
Mixed.
If they build a park, or if they build the hotel like they're planning on, they probably will start calling it that. But Universal Studios Florida is interesting because Universal Florida, it's a very weird layout. A lot of the Universal like Studios parks, like how there's the Kingdom parks, like the castle parks for Disney. There's like the studio parks for Universal, right? That's your Beijing, that's your Tokyo, that's your Singapore, your Florida, and your Hollywood.
And who has the tram tour? Just us, Hollywood. Which is crazy.
But that's because it's the only one that's real, and it's the one where it started at all. I know, but also look what happened with all the fake ones that Disney made. They don't exist anymore.
But people loved them. They just had to make room.
Right.
That was the problem.
That's the problem. Yeah, the layout is very interesting because like I'll use Florida as an example. A lot of them kind of use the same layout. Florida is interesting because as you get deeper into the park, it starts to become kind of more romanticized. It's like at first it's very like real. It's very much like you are in a studio. This is a studio. Here are sounds. If you go straight, there's sound stages. And if you go right, it's Hollywood. You're walking down a street in LA, right? But then as you go on,
my favorite, walking down a street in LA.
It starts to like fall apart more and starts to become, oh, now we're in Simpsons Land. Oh, now we're at the World's Fair with Men in Black. Oh, now we're at Diagon Alley, right? It like falls apart. Like all of a sudden, like the interesting thing about Universal Studios Florida is they kind of are like, where you're going is supposed to be like you go from the sound stages to like now these are the real sets, but they're kind of real. Like you go to a New York backlot, but it kind of is New York, but it kind of isn't New York. And then you go to San Francisco and it's supposed to be a set, but it's not really a set. It's very interesting. It's almost like, it's like as you get deeper into it, it becomes less of a movie studio, more like this is just real at this point.
So then this is kind of tied to the question we're going to wrap with the why do you love theme parks? Why do you love Universal at all? What do you love about it? You don't love Villain Con.
No.
Or the Despicable Me ride.
No, there's things that I love and there's things that I don't love. Just like with Disney.
No, I know.
But if I were to say what the Universal difference is, I would say,
what has Disney not nailed that Universal has?
I think Universal is not afraid to make kids cry. I think that's a big one. I think that's a really, really
like
big
the Transformers ride.
Like their rides.
Like I'm gonna try to kill Optimus Prime right now.
Their rides are a lot more intense and like people die. Like in the rides, like if you really pay attention, you think
not real
it,
people.
People like die. Like there's like deaths and things that happen. Like you go on the Mummy ride and a dude gets eaten by scarabs in the first 5 seconds, eaten alive right in front of you by scarabs, right? Whereas like with Indiana Jones, there's daring things and there's scary things, but they're kind of more on the implied side. Universal can get a little bit more in your face with it, but that kind of makes them a little more fun sometimes. I also think that Universal can poke fun at itself and at other things a lot better. They do it more than Disney. Why did everything become blue?
It does that sometimes, but I can fix it.
They can be like funnier than Disney sometimes. They can also go too far with it sometimes. But yeah, I think that I think the thing that I love the most about Universal is Disney. We talk about IPs a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll use like Minions and like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge as examples. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is an amazing accomplishment. Minions is not. That being said, Universal kind of gets the appeal of Minions and puts that into the ride way better than Disney gets the appeal of Star Wars and puts that into their land or their rides. So I feel like Universal is way better in a weird way. They're way better at adapting things into the theme park space than Disney is.
Like at Universal, Back to the Future. The point of Back to the Future is not going to the future or the past. It's getting in the DeLorean and going.
And they deliver.
Yeah.
And then when you think about all the stuff in Harry Potter, when they built that initial land, what do people want to do? People want to drink butterbeer, They want to
Wear
fly.
cloaks.
They want to fly on a broomstick. Yeah, they want to wear cloaks. They want to fly on a broomstick, and they want to be able to do magic with a wand. And they perfectly deliver. They give you exactly, and it looks 100% right off the screen.
Yeah.
100% right off the screen.
But that was the first time they really did that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not true, because Jurassic Park is the same way too. Of like, you go on a Jurassic Park ride, what do you want to see? You want to see your T-Rex almost.
Well, I mean,
almost
like
get to.
in the places you're walking, they really nailed that.
Right.
With Harry Potter.
Right.
And Disney, that's new for them too, the immersive lands. It's because of Harry Potter.
Right. Whereas Disney kind of delivers you like what they kind of give you like what they think that like you need. They're kind of like, no. This is the Spider-Man experience that you need. You want to shoot the web, right? That's fun. You want to shoot the web, and it's like,
No, you want to swing on the web.
I want to swing on the web.
And Universal does that.
And fight the villains and then get saved by Spider-Man. And Universal does all three of those things. And then Disney kind of doesn't do any of them. Like, I don't even think Spider-Man saves us on that ride. We save Spider-Man, actually.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't want to save Spider-Man. What?
Yeah.
Like, me, a 5-year-old, like, little boy, going like this? I just learned how this ride works. How is it that Spider-Man is so incompetent on this ride that I have to save him? What? That doesn't happen in the movies. So it's like they just like totally like don't get like the appeal sometimes of the things. And sometimes it works. Like sometimes it's fun to just like, yeah, like just like in the case of like the storybook rides, like just like, let's just revisit like the experience of like these movies and these stories and stuff like that. Whereas Universal like takes it a step further, and they're like, here's what you like. E.T. is a great example. What's the one thing you want to do in E.T.? You want to ride on the bike with E.T. They're like, here you go. Every bike has E.T. on it. Let's go. First half of the ride is going to be what you remember from the movie, and then the second half, we're just going to take you on this other adventure. And you're gonna totally be along for the ride because we're already fulfilling this wish for you. You know? So I think that's kind of the Universal difference.
Wish fulfillment.
They're way better at the wish fulfillment. Ironically,
here, the tram tour, that's what everyone wants to do. They want to go to the movie set.
Yeah. They want to feel like they are part of the filmmaking process. And
not in the film, on the set. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and they kind of do both.
Yeah, they do a little both.
They do a little bit of both.
Or it's like, oh, here's a special effect. Also, it's happening to you.
And let me tell you, it worked on me because when I did the Universal Tram Tour at the ripe age of like 12 or whenever I was in 8th grade and stuff, that worked on me because I immediately got off and was like, yep, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I knew I wanted to be a storyteller, filmmaker, something, whatever, right? But the moment I got off that ride, I knew I was like, I want to work in the movies. I specifically want to work in this industry.
So then would this be the shortcoming of the Simpsons ride? There's no wish.
Yeah.
The Simpsons wish is to eat the
fulfillment?
donut and drink the beer, and they have that outside.
And they have that outside. It should just be a little stand. Exactly. There's no wish fulfillment on the Simpsons ride. And that's also why the Mario Kart ride is a massive failure. But I think that the land really works. The land does a great job of wish fulfillment. A really great job. The Bowser Jr. challenge, you can jump up and do power-ups. Oh my gosh, I'm throwing flames with a fire flower. You can go and punch blocks and get coins. Mario Kart ride does absolutely none of the wish fulfillment that I want out of the Mario Kart ride. Why do I not get to spin out from a banana getting thrown at me? There's like one part where you do spin and it's like 2 miles per hour. But I want to throw a banana at the other car and make them spin out. At the very least, they could have done that, and they didn't.
Yeah, it should have been.
It should have been what Fast and Furious is.
It should have maybe been more scripted.
Absolutely. It should have just
because
been
it could
linear.
have gone faster.
It should have been linear, and it should have been simulated speed. Just like what Transformers is, what Fast and Furious is, of we're on a motion base, we're in a simulator, we're going to go from screen to a set, to a screen, to a set, and just done something like that. Because that would have been way more thrilling, and then, sure, throwing in a couple interactive elements.
You know what, though? Mario Kart could have been the same, let's say, with the glasses or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if there are preset cars that the same thing happens to that car. So then the car behind it can have a preset weapon. You got in the car that throws the banana. Someone else got in the car that gets hit by the banana, but their car has the shell that they could throw at another car.
They kind of do something like that already, and they have been kind of doing that since the late 90s.
But
Men in Black. Because
I don't even know
so Men in Black has a part where they go, wait, hold on. It's like halfway through the ride. They go, hold on, because the whole time it's two cars riding next to each other, and you guys are on your own shooting thing. They go, wait a minute. We think we got a report that your side, the other car next to you, is actually aliens in disguise. And they drive both cars past screens so that from both cars' perspectives, the other car is just full of a bunch of aliens. They scan you, and then they turn the screen into aliens, and it makes it look like, oh my God, the other tourists on the other car are aliens. You have to zap them. And then whichever car can, if anyone on either car can hit the target above the car first, it'll cause that other car to spin out, and the other car gets the points.
So what I'm saying though, not forget even the points.
Or sorry, since the early 2000s. Yeah. They've been doing that since the early 2000s.
Forget even the points. Like,
and the spinning out. It's fun either way, because if you're the car that shoots, you're like, haha, and you get to watch them spin out, which is fun, and you get the points. And then if you get shot, it's fun to get spun out.
Yeah. And
so either way, you win.
It's like in Mario Kart, it could have just been completely scripted. And it's like, if you get put in row 7, you're in the car that gets hit by the banana. You get put in row 3, you have the sound machine, like whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But then you can do more intense effects instead of people saying like it's a slow ride.
Right.
And like lame. Mm-hmm. So I haven't been on it.
That sucks.
Yeah.
No,
and then that's the only ride.
I've never heard anyone say they like it.
And it's the only ride, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get the Yoshi thing.
Yeah.
And we're not getting Donkey Kong.
Which Donkey Kong, even though it looks like it's going to be a very slow coaster, which might make it boring, it is wish fulfillment.
Yeah, you want to go on the cart.
Because if you're a Donkey Kong fan, you want to go on the cart. If you're not a Donkey Kong fan and you walk into that land, you look at it and you go, oh my God, the track's broken. The cart's just jumping the track. I need to ride that. That's crazy. Because if you're someone who has like played the Roller Coaster Tycoon games and you've made the broken roller coasters, or if you're just anyone that's just like,
everyone knows what getting in the minecart
is broken.
Yeah,
I want to ride that.
And I assume at a distance, it's going to hide the little mechanism that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
they designed it in a way that like it doesn't look like the most fun roller coaster of all time, but they designed it in a way that if you're walking outside, it looks like it's jumping the tracks. It looks like it's doing all of that. It looks crazy. So that part's exciting because little kids' minds are going to be blown. I think even like old people are going to be like,
oh, for sure.
What? That's the thing I'm really excited about with that ride. When that ride opens, I just know there's going to be viral videos of people filming their family members going on and not knowing how roller coasters work. Think about how people go on Indiana Jones and they're like, oh my God, at the end, you go down a 50-foot drop and it's like 2 feet and you are reversing and it's all, you know,
you're not reversing.
Tricks. You're not reversing. It's all tricks. And it totally destroys people's minds that don't know how this stuff works, right?
You tell people how it works. It still works.
And it still gets them.
I know how it works. I can stare at the walls and I'm still moving backwards.
I know there's going to be viral videos of like someone's grandma going on the ride, just going, and like covering their face when they see the jump in the track. That's going to be so fun. And again, mega wish fulfillment. It's just, we know this is what people want. Here it is.
Yeah. And I guess Disney's problem with like Millennium Falcon, you want to fly it, but only 2 people could fly it. Really only 1 person could fly it, but they made it work with the 2. The gunner, maybe. I like the engineer position more than gunner, straight up. But that's not people's wish fulfillment, right? But you would have 1/3 the people, like capacity, if everyone was flying the Falcon. And you want to have a crew. I think they were like stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't think they could have made that ride better with 6 people in it, right?
Yeah. I still stand by it that the best Star Wars ride is Star Tours 1.0. I've always wanted to do this. We're going in.
I think
it defies all logic. Why are we going to the Death Star and blowing it up again? And why are we the Star Tour? It doesn't matter. Everyone was hooting and hollering every time because that's what everyone wants to do. Everyone wants to feel like a hero and go take down the Death Star. Simple.
I think they could have done it. I think if they get rid of the randomization, like between
on Star Tours,
if it had random locked scenarios
on Star Tours,
yes,
okay,
it could.
I didn't know if you were talking about Falcon or
sorry, sorry, it could be similar to the original because then you could have these like cohesive stories. Because like Crate is a cool thing, right? You kind of do the Hoth thing, right? You see someone doing the thing. I don't think they could spin you around that many times, right? That fast.
Yeah.
But I think, dude, you haven't done the Ahsoka stuff, huh?
No.
Space whales?
No.
Okay.
Or maybe I did. I think I did, actually. No, I think I did. I did.
There's a point where you do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
You don't do a barrel roll, obviously.
Right.
But they nail it.
They nail it.
Every time. And I'm like,
feel like it. Yeah.
Whoa, good job.
Yeah.
So like they could do things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, but Disney's thing is not wish fulfillment because your wish is to feel something and they make you feel something, right?
Yeah.
You don't have this wish of like the minecart ride is Donkey Kong. Big Thunder is not a minecart ride, but you have it. It fulfills this like crazy ghost town train thing.
Yeah.
But it's not a wish of I want to be on this train. You're just like, oh, I love this feeling. And it nails the feeling because it's not just a roller coaster.
Right.
Right. And like Matterhorn, it's very cool to go through a mountain and have a thing. It's almost giving you things you didn't know you wanted.
That's what I said. It's giving you things. They're the best at giving you the thing that you never knew that you wanted, and then it becomes iconic. Matterhorn's iconic. Who would think of like, let's get on a bobsled. We're gonna go up this mountain, but oh no, there's a Yeti, abominable snowman that is in charge of this mountain, and hopefully we don't get caught by him on our way down.
So I guess they're really good at giving
because like if you think about it, like the whole idea of like a monster or like a mythical creature, like that's a very universal thing. And then just the idea of like just riding down a mountain in a little thing is like such a universal thing too. So, and not universal the park, but like the concept. It's a very like universally whatever.
So I think maybe Disney's good at giving you what you didn't know you wanted. However, that doesn't
or
really...
they used to be. I think they used to
hold on. That doesn't translate to when they put an IP in there because they don't understand the IP.
No, yes, you're absolutely right. Because anytime that it's not an IP, they nail it. You're so right. There's
California Screamin', you want the launch and the loop and the big drops and the corners and the whatever, the up and down part, right?
Yeah.
But then they put the Incredibles in it and you're like, this isn't what I wanted out of the Incredibles.
Right.
So
it's a bad Incredibles ride. It's a good coaster just on its own.
Yeah, they nailed the feeling of like.
I've always said Incredicoaster is a downgrade.
Yeah. Oh, I love Screamin' way more for 100 different reasons, but they made a good roller coaster. They understood roller coasters. They made a good one that is like tame enough for people to get on.
Yeah, they like took all these like things of like they're like, let's put a launch on the water. Let's give it one little loop. Like they just kind of put all the things that you want in a coaster. Let's have the part where you're corkscrewing around. Let's have a part where you're bouncing up and down like a wave. They just kind of put and then they have the one big drop right before you get on the loop that like kind of you feel in your tummy, right?
Yeah.
They kind of just were like, let's just put all the things that you want out of a classic boardwalk wooden coaster.
Like even Mulholland Madness was a better theme than Goofy Sky School.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, Goofy's teaching you to fly, but it's like really contrived.
Yeah.
But Mulholland Madness, the thing is,
it's like, oh, I'm in a car and it's going crazy.
No one understood the reference unless an older person explained it to them.
No, totally.
So, like Mulholland Drive, for you San Gabriel Valley people, is like Turnbull Canyon. It's just a really windy, crazy road that people would drive fast on in the middle of the night, and that's all it is. But no one knows that unless you're from there and you've been on Mulholland Drive,
right?
Which is like used to be referenced in Universal Hollywood, which is funny. On the backdrop, I have a picture of that from back in the day. But yeah, so I guess Disney's good at just giving you these things you didn't know you wanted, unless there's an IP thing.
Ironically, they're like bad at doing that with the IPs because they still apply the whole thing of like, well, this is what we think that you.
Yeah, like Tiana's is a sequel.
Yeah, now Tiana's a sequel, but no one asked for that.
But the problem is they can't do the voodoo.
Right.
We know this.
But the ironic thing is they're like we can't do the voodoo, but everyone's screaming we want the voodoo.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Everyone wants it. There's five people in New Orleans that don't want the voodoo. I'm sorry. Voodoo in New Orleans, that is such a specifically niche thing.
You know what? I think they're forgetting.
I think personally, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'll totally admit if I'm wrong. If all of a sudden 100,000 people from New Orleans are like, New Orleans are like, no, you're wrong.
I'm not talking about New Orleans people.
I feel like it's a Speedy Gonzalez situation.
I think
it's the actual people.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking
care.
about at all.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about, no offense, the white Christian traveler, which is a hold on.
Oh yeah,
that's a problem in Florida. That's not a problem here. People don't like voodoo, but we have Haunted Mansion. Those whatever. We're at Disneyland. It's fake.
Right. But Haunted Mansion's already pushing it.
Florida, though?
I see what you're saying.
Florida gets the middle America people.
Because it's dark magic. Yeah, no.
I know people who like, I don't like that, but they just be like, whatever. They give that up because it's a lot of locals at Disney.
Like Universal, like a lot of people like, Harry Potter, the religion, blah, blah, blah.
But a lot of religious people.
No one's going to protest it at Universal, but yeah, people would make a scene at Disney.
I think the problem is they have it in Magic Kingdom and it's a bigger deal there.
Absolutely.
And we just
in Hollywood Studios. Like,
well, no. I mean, like Florida, it's a traveler's park.
Yeah.
Here, it's not going to affect anything negatively. Everyone's just going to go on the princess ride.
Yeah.
Right. The Tiana ride. Did you see the joke on how Mama Odie is an animatronic on the tier of or echelon of the Yeti in Expedition Everest?
Yeah.
She wasn't moving, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Keep posing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic. Anyways.
So
I see moving on. We have Six Flags here.
Yeah. We'll come back to Universal with Epic Universe.
Yeah.
Like
We'll come back to
Universal
with
so
Epic
Six
Universe.
Flags. There is no sauce.
On Six Flags. Yes.
It's rides. It's not a theme park.
The thing about Six Flags is it does scratch an itch. It scratches its own itch. It offers its own thing, which
it's an amusement park.
It's an amusement park. And there are a lot of people in this world that don't know the difference between an amusement park and a theme park. And they don't know and they don't care. They see Disney. They just look at Disney and they think that's really expensive. Like they don't look at it as, oh, the customer service is better or the food is better or the experience is better or there's queues or there's cute theming or there's cute. They don't care.
They want to
They
eat
just
food.
are like, listen, man, I want to just scream all day and go on really, really fun rides.
Yeah, they want to go on rides, eat food, play some games because they have games at Six Flags.
Yeah, they have lots of games.
And I'll come to this epiphany I had yesterday, but they just want to have this like outing where they do all these fun things.
They just want to have a blast.
Yeah.
And Six Flags, while we can talk for an hour probably about how horrible management is and how horribly managed that park is and how terrible the actual park experience is of going there.
That's a big problem.
Once you get on the rides, those rides are fun. They're awesome.
Yeah, I've been there. I had an amazing time on the rides. Every time I was walking around, I wanted to die.
Oh, and every time I waited in line for something, I wanted to die.
That too.
Because the thing is,
it's miserable.
It's not like I'm like a baby and I like need Mickey Mouse to appear every 5 seconds or I need to see, fake themed rock work. But dude, they are so inefficient at loading people into the rides and they don't put shade. And like half the times they don't put misters or they put the most obnoxious things in the queue rather than I would prefer them put nothing. But there's like obnoxious ads and stuff like that. So it's just like the experience of going is really bad.
Random TVs.
Their express fast pass, flash pass is a joke. It's horrible. I had the diamond pass for a year just to try it because I was like, well, now I live in the San Fernando Valley. Now I live like 30 minutes away from Six Flags Magic Mountain.
I didn't think about that.
Let me try going as a guest, and it was miserable. I was like, there's no way I'm going to renew. They make everything so much harder than it needs to be. Like you think Disney is bad now with like the reservations and with like getting stuff. The fact that you have to reserve parking with your Diamond Pass and like notify them and stuff, it's ridiculous. And then you go and you're like express or whatever. It only works if you go crack of dawn, rope drop the park. And then even then within 5 minutes, all of the good rides are sold out. So then your pass becomes worthless. And then you get to the rides and the rides break down. The rides break down there more than any other park. And also Six Flags just doesn't care. They don't care about your experience. If the rides break down, if you get punched in the face by a worker, you can go over there and complain. And they'll be like, well, you can leave.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Six Flags.
Well, so I had this epiphany at the OC Fair yesterday. It's like, what's the draw? Because the food's not good. The food is fine.
I disagree.
Matthew, we've come to the conclusion that
We will never see eye to eye about food.
you've yet to experience it all.
I know.
I'm
working on it.
It'll come with time and money and
But
growth.
You're telling me that a fried Oreo doesn't.
Here's what. No.
Smack.
Okay, listen. I'm going to preface this.
Okay.
I go to the fair because Kimmy grew up going to the fair and she likes it.
Because listen, I'm not going
Hold on,
to the fair for
I want to
burgers
do the
and fries.
preface. I want to do the
I'm
preface.
going to.
I want to do the preface.
Okay, fine. Preface away.
Kimmy loves it,
Mm-hmm.
and I go with her because I didn't grow up going there.
Yeah.
So I don't have nostalgia for the fair.
Whereas I did.
However, yes, Kimmy loves it. This isn't like, oh, I like making her happy, seeing her happy. I do, but I actually like find enjoyment out of how much she enjoys it. And we do certain things at the fair that I enjoy as like a tradition now. And she also doesn't like the things that I don't like. Like, I'm not trying to get drunk at the fair,
No.
right? I'll get drunk at a tiki bar.
That's embarrassing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the rides.
No, same.
I'm out.
No.
I don't want to die. Right? Literally.
I don't want to die.
And
yeah, they're fun, but I don't want to die.
and the games, I don't care about the games, and she doesn't either.
They're a scam.
So I hate the little scam shops that they have, but it's funny to make fun of them.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to go through
And see what the hell
be
they're selling, right?
Because there's so many.
Yeah. The artwork.
So you truly see everything.
Yeah,
You
the
see every kind of
artwork and stuff I enjoy. I'm
But
not
every
big
once in a while
on
you find a nugget.
I'm
You
not
find a
big on the
little gem.
animal stuff. I feel bad for the animals.
Yeah,
The
I get
farms,
that.
right?
But they are
I'm
very cute.
weird about animals.
Yeah, no, I feel that though.
And then there's new thing we love, the table setting competition.
Oh,
Have you seen this?
I need to go. That sounds so.
It's old.
That sounds so fun. I've never seen them. do
Okay,
that.
they do like 50 table settings, like 3x3. It can only be like 6 feet tall, and then they're judged on the theme. There's criteria. They have a
my
rubric
God.
there
That's
and
so
awards,
dope.
and it's amazing.
That's so dope.
Shout out to my friend BJ. He was like, "Have you guys seen the table settings?" We're like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh,
He goes, "Dude, there's a
dude, I've
competition
never seen it.
on
But
setting
that's the
tables."
thing. There's so many little things like that happen at the fair, and I feel like every year I find some new thing. Like I'll like go and they're doing that.
That was
'Cause
my
they just do
preface.
100 events.
I had a great time yesterday
Yeah.
with Kimmy, right? But I was like, "What's the draw? Why do people buy the pass to the fair? Why do they come here so often? Why is it such a
the
big deal?"
pass is a little crazy.
It is a little crazy.
If you lived in Costa Mesa, I get it.
Yeah. But then you said this with Six Flags, but I thought about this yesterday. It's the thing that people do because they don't go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do? You want
I
to go
have
on
all
a
this time off this summer, and I
forget
don't
even
want
that.
to go
Like,
to Disneyland.
you want to go on a ride. You want to play a game.
Yeah.
We don't have boardwalks.
Yeah.
It's an outing. It's a place that has things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's the mall, but better, right?
Yeah.
And worse. But
Yeah.
it's a place with lots of things
But
to do.
people don't look at it as worse. They just look at it as people look at things as just like, oh, there's more. There's
Yeah.
more of things.
It's a place.
Which means it's good.
It's a place with things to do.
Yep.
So Six Flags scratches that same itch. It's a place with things
it's
to
the
do.
fair that's kind of always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And less likely to die on the rides. So
Which, as a good transition, Knott's for a while kind of was that too. Knott's for a while kind of was that. It's the fair that's always there. And now, thanks to the new leadership that they have, now they are like reclaiming the identity that they used to have. Because Knott's is a very interesting theme park where it had its way and then it lost its way and then it got its way back again. And like no theme park has ever done that. And also specifically, I want to point out too. So Disney always steals from Knott's. Like that's just
they were
thing.
friends though.
They were friends, but they always not regardless of whether you want to call it steal, borrow, inspired, whatever. No matter what, any idea, almost any idea from Disney has come from Knott's at some point.
What came first, the teacups or the hats?
The teacups.
Okay.
The teacups.
That's not. Oh, I got him. I wanted. I wanted to know.
You just wanted to know.
Because that would be
I didn't
really
know if that was
fun.
a got him. But yeah, the hats because that Mexico area came later. But Knott's did something that no other theme park has ever done. So in the way of having an identity, losing the identity, and then restoring the identity. A great example of that is Knott's Berry Tales. Knott's Berry Tales was this dark ride that existed that was very unique, very charming, had its own identity, was like a thing that you looked at and you were like, that's a Knott's Berry Farm ride. That's something you could find at Knott's Berry Farm. Then they lost it. It got rethemed again and again. And then finally they were like, you know what? Let's bring that ride back spiritually. Like, let's not fully bring it back, but let's bring it back spiritually, because it was this awful shooter ride. And then they were like, okay, people hate this ride, but we don't really want to buy a new ride system. What if we brought back that old Knott's Berry Tales ride and we rethemed the shooter to that? So to my knowledge, Knott's Berry Farm is the first theme park in history to take a ride and to bring it back like that.
As a different ride.
As like a different ride. Because like Captain EO was kind of the first time that an attraction went away entirely and then came back. Right. And that was kind of like as a tribute. And even that wasn't permanent. But then now Disney is doing the same thing. Do you know where they're doing that? It's the one thing that no one's been talking about with D23 predictions that they're definitely going to talk about.
The Figment thing?
Test Track 3.0. Because it was World of Motion, then Test Track 1.0, then Test Track 2.0, and now it's going to go back to World of Motion inspired, even though it's still the Test Track ride system.
You going based off of the nature screenshots or what?
No, it is like they basically. I think they said they're like we're going to.
They said World of Motion,
bring it back to its World of Motion roots.
Yeah, but if they're still going to call it Test Track. You still test, you know?
Who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But that I feel like they're going to talk about at D23 for sure.
They have to.
They have to.
They closed it
because it's being worked on right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Knott's, it's very exciting right now. It's a very exciting time to be a Knott's Berry Farm.
They're doing that whole Peanut Land, right?
Yeah, it opened.
Did it?
They didn't do a good job with the opening.
Yeah, the concepts looked really good.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's not done.
Yeah, right.
The problem is they opened it and then people went and they were like, "Wait, it's not done. It's not even close to being done. It's like halfway done."
So they just opened for the summer.
They just opened it for the summer. They clearly were just like, God, we need to open this for the summer. And
they opened like the water area or something, or
not even
like the roller coaster's not open.
No, I don't even know what's open. They basically just open the walkways. It seems like, which is a little rough, but yeah, they fixed the Mexico area. They like did a great job of refurbishing it.
Ghost Town or Calico something, right?
No, the Mexico.
No,
area.
They also fixed that up.
Ghost Town and Calico? No, they haven't really touched anything.
No, in the past like 5 years.
They expanded it. There's an area that like they would only open for Scary Farm, and now it's kind of like permanently open. I know, and that they kind of put a little TLC over there, and they've opened that. They did a great job refurbishing the Knott's Berry Farm Hotel, which we went into. It looks amazing. They did a great job of refurbishing the Knott's Chicken Dinner restaurant, like and also like
which
the Roaring 20s area. They did an amazing job. That bathroom, listen, we talk about theme park bathrooms. That is one of the top 10 theme park bathrooms. Maybe top 5.
I want to point out something about the Knott's Berry Farm
Hotel
chicken
dinner.
The reason, I'm sure you know this. I'm sure many people know this, but many people don't. The reason Knott's Berry Farm exists is his wife. What was her name? Mrs. Knotts.
Cordelia.
I know it's not Knotts, but yeah.
Cordelia Knotts.
They were selling her chicken, and there was a long line, and the line grew and grew and grew and grew.
Till it was multi-hours long.
And so they needed something for people to do. So they built the Old West Town as like an attraction for people to keep busy while they waited in line. Or to be called, I guess. Did they let people not wait in line anymore?
Yeah, so like they kind of were also the inventors of the virtual queue because they had megaphones throughout Ghost Town, and they'd be like, Kirk and Matthew, your table's ready, and then you would have to leave the Ghost Town and go to your table.
And then they built a theme park around it. Which is
like
they
slowly but
with
surely.
The train, and the train was the big thing.
It was they brought the train, and then they brought the log flume ride, and then like it's just slowly over time they just kept adding stuff and adding stuff and adding.
Okay, we'll put a fence around it, and it's a theme park.
And then they were like, yeah, it's just a theme park now. So it is the original American theme park.
Which is so funny.
And
But
yeah,
I read. You know where I read that? The Imagineering story, the book.
really,
They talked about Knott's and Walt Disney's relationship with them.
that's really cool.
Yeah, they even with the documentary they made, they obviously are pulling punches. It's made by Disney.
Yeah.
But they do go into like, here's Michael Eisner. He messed up.
Oh yeah, Michael Eisner came out and was like, "Hey, I messed up." Yeah.
Also, my best friend died, and I was in charge of his job too.
It is kind of nuts that Disney launched their streaming service with like the most Disney series about all of their theme parks, and in like episode 7,
Dude.
it's just about how their one park that they made sucked.
Peak Disney Plus was you would watch Mandalorian on Friday and Imagineering Story on Saturday. Like,
Yeah,
man,
what a time.
Yeah.
That's like the only time, I feel like that's the last time I felt like when I was a kid being like, oh man, New Sweet Life of Zack and Cody out
dude.
on this day, and then High School Musical 2 is going to come out
For
next
Mando,
weekend,
especially because of how dark it was, like literally the aesthetic.
Yeah.
I would, on Fridays, I'd come home. Dude, I'd like make dinner, go on my walk, start the laundry, shower, put all the laundry away. Everything was done. Silence. Turn off all the lights and watch Mando.
Love that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So
yeah, so
Six
Knott's,
Flags, Knott's, yeah.
what is there to love about Knott's? Because now, ironically, Knott's is owned by Six Flags.
Cedar
As
Fair,
of-
which
nope.
oh,
As of 2 months ago, they are owned by, or I think actually a month ago, they are now owned by Six Flags.
because Six Flags and Cedar Fair merged.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember saying on the show, Cedar Fair owns Six Flags, and John Harris
Yeah.
wrote in and he was like, "No, they don't." And 2 months later, he goes, "I guess you're right."
Yeah. Yeah. What's there to love about Knott's?
I've been there a few times. I've been to Scary Farm multiple times.
To me, Knott's is like this cool thing where it's the best of a Six Flags park with the best of a Disneyland park. It's kind of like a weird fusion park.
Not the best of a Disneyland park, but some of the sauce.
Some of the sauce. Yeah, some of the sauce. In terms of the nostalgia and stuff like that and the historic aspect.
Like you
And-
have
and
your
the charm,
you
and
have
the
your
charm.
silver bullet,
You have your Silver Bullet, which is a great coaster,
but then you have either minecart ride or whatever.
which
it
is like so charming and just so like one of a kind. Like you will not find this anywhere else. You will only find this here at Knott's Berry Farm. That sort of thing. Just all of Ghost Town, you know. But then and then you have Ghost Rider, which is like its own thing, or Hang Time, which is a great coaster. So, and then I'm glad that they're doing stuff like the Knott's Berry Tales and stuff like that, because it's great that they're like,
and then Snoopy ice skating,
and then Snoopy
which
ice
is crazy.
skating. Yeah,
that they
and
do
I'm
that.
also glad that they're leaning into the Peanuts thing too, because like it's also great to be known as like the Peanuts Park, because frankly,
Do
I
kids
feel
love the Peanuts though?
dude,
I don't know.
it's not the Peanuts, it's Snoopy. Did you know? This blew my mind. When Universal Japan opened, for like the first year or two, they couldn't really nail down like we need to have like a mascot. So they did a survey in Japan in like 2001, 2002, and they just asked kids like, who do you love? Like what characters do you love the most?
And Mickey Mouse was not one of the bubbles.
Mickey Mouse was number 2. Snoopy was number 1.
Oh,
People love Snoopy. I don't see Mickey Mouse Twitter accounts, but I follow Is Snoopy, which is a huge Twitter account dedicated to Snoopy. And people, I mean, obviously we have Mickey Mouse here. People love Mickey Mouse, but dude, people
I mean,
love
Japan
Snoopy.
does love Mickey Mouse.
Japan loves Mickey Mouse, but they love Snoopy.
Yeah,
I think the whole world loves Snoopy.
I've never really cared about Snoopy.
as much as Mickey Mouse. I feel like in recent years, I've started to love Snoopy way more.
I love the idea of loving Snoopy.
Yeah.
I was never a Peanuts kid. Like when people are like, oh, I don't even know the names of the specials.
The specials.
The pumpkin thing.
Yeah.
I never really watched them. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I wonder if that kind of ties into me not also, like when I went to Knott's, I'm like, Camp Snoopy, cool.
Camp Snoopy,
I
cool.
was like, whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's the thing, is Knott's used to have like a lot of those like generalized concept things. There used to be just a time machine ride.
Huh.
It's what replaced Knott's Berry Tales. It was just like, we're gonna go back to the age of the dinosaur and stuff like that.
I haven't heard that one before.
Or they had this ride made by my friend Eddie Soto, the Soapbox Racers, which was just like you're gonna get in a little soapbox and you're gonna race these other kids, and like you're racing through like a little cartoon world and stuff like that, and just fun stuff like that. Knott's just has a lot of very one of a kind, very fun stuff that like it's made itself its own identity in like a cool way. And then also another thing too is the boysenberry. Like boysenberries were invented by they bought the boysenberry from the person that invented it, and they're like, boysenberries are our thing, we're known for the boysenberry. And so them doing the boysenberry festival is really smart. And then we can't not talk about it, but Knott's Scary Farm is the premier. It's Knott's Scary Farm and Halloween Horror Nights Orlando. Those are the worldwide premier Halloween experiences. But Scary Farm is the one that started it all. They are the original haunt, which haunts are just huge.
That's wild to me.
Huge.
Like I've been to Knott's Scary Farm, and I think I've been like attending, and I've been there as like a chaperone, which was also interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I went to a little church camp, and I was a counselor there eventually. There was the yearly Knott's Scary Farm trip, where all the kids. Dude,
that's crazy for a church camp.
Yeah, dude, it's whatever. Like
that's wild.
And the Armenian church, which has been around like for 1,1800 years.
That's so chill.
So it's crazy to think about. It's like 1,000 freaking years, you know? So I'm having an existential crisis right now on just how long time is.
Yeah.
So, it was like you'd see all these kids in the summer. Some of the kids you'd see if there was a youth group thing during the year, but like I would say like 2% of the kids would go to that, right? And then you'd see your camp friends in October. Like you'd be like, see you at Scary Farm.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
And it was fun. And it was like you'd force the kids to go to the maze. She's like, we can't break the group. Wow. It's like, I hate clowns. It's like, well, they're not real. We're going in. Like, I'm going to have a panic attack. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tanya.
So all that to say, I think to summarize Knott's perfectly, what Knott's is, everyone has their regional park. If you're a theme park fan, you have your regional park, like Carowinds, or like Kennywood.
Shout out.
All that stuff. I feel like of all of those, the two that are just, there's the king and the queen of regional parks. The king is Knott's Berry Farm. The queen is Dollywood. Those are just the two, like.
Do people outside of here think about Knott's Berry Farm?
Yes.
Oh,
I would say maybe Dollywood a little bit more, but yeah, definitely Knott's Berry Farm for sure. I think in the last like decade, people are really starting to take Knott's Berry Farm very seriously.
Well, why?
Because if you're a theme park fan, like it's really just about the history of it. Like the Knott's Berry Farm just has this crazy history, whereas Dollywood, for whatever reason. And I think actually to go all the way back to Walt Disney, I think it's because Dolly is so involved with everything. Dollywood just, every time they just execute and they just nail it. It doesn't matter if it's a nighttime spectacular or a brand new show or a brand new attraction or a brand new land. They just nail it. Like they're just really good at executing stuff in their parks. Like really good. And so, people have the regional parks, but like the thing is, like a lot of that's nostalgia. Like none of those regional parks, like I would fly out to. However, I want to fly out to Dollywood, and if I wasn't living here, I would want to fly out to
that park in Sacramento, Great America or something.
Like I wouldn't.
People don't really like it.
I was on
just go there.
Yeah, they just go there. I was on a road trip, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna go. And I'm like a theme. Park
there's
guy.
like a little tiny amusement park in like Stockton over here.
Are you talking about Castle Park or
No.
something else?
Adventure or something.
Also, I know
not
we
Stockton.
Have, I know
Stanton.
We have, I know
sorry.
We have, okay. I know
Stockton's
we have
up there.
3 more points. I want to end on just the next one.
You want to?
I want to end on the next one.
Hold on.
I think the next one will be a perfect
Adventure City.
Oh yeah. Adventure City.
It just exists. But anyways,
Gotcha. So yeah, that's my thing about Knott's. I think Knott's and then Dollywood are like just like when you think about those regional parks that aren't owned by these big mega corporations. Well, kind of, but not really. Like not like big media
Yeah,
corporations.
Knott's still feels like it's owned by like 3 people.
Yeah, it has its charm. It just executes things very, very well. It has a great history. It has a great identity. It has a very strong identity. The Dollywood identity is very strong. The Knott's Berry Farm identity is very strong. And so I think it nails all of those things. And it kind of nails like it's not too theme park, it's not too amusement park. It's just like a nice mix of both. It's a nicely polished amusement park.
Knott's really feels like a family park though. Like
Same with Dollywood.
I don't know anything about Dollywood.
Yeah, Dollywood, it's gorgeous because also Dollywood too has the advantage of the location. The location is gorgeous. It's in the woods, so like all these other parks, it's like they had to fabricate it. Dollywood, it's like when you get on the train, you're really going through the woods and through the mountains.
Have you seen
it's just different.
Marineland. Jake from Bright Sun he's made a couple videos about it. Calls it the worst theme park in North America. It's bad. But the location's amazing. It's like it's in a forest in Niagara Falls.
Wow.
But they just like have treated animals poorly, and there's just like wide walkways that go nowhere, whatever. But take a look at. He did 2 videos.
Marineland. Yeah, I'll take a look at
and they're you'll enjoy it. You watch his first visit because that's when he dives into what the park is.
Yeah.
The second visit is like, look, they made it worse, guys. So yeah, check that video out. But yeah, so Knott's is very like family oriented. They do like cute little shows. The Golden Horseshoe people are the Kirk and the Hillbillies.
Yeah.
So like from Disneyland.
Yeah.
They have a train, which is
so fun.
Yeah, it's less of like an adventurous train, I think, right? It's more like you're just on a train.
Yeah. That's more the appeal more is like you're on a train.
Yeah.
But they do a fun wish fulfillment of you're in an old Western town and you get on a train. What's the one thing that could happen that would be fun and would be out of the ordinary, but you think of in any cowboy story?
Train robbery.
Stick them up. Yep. But yeah, is there anything else you want to say about Knott's?
No, I don't. You know what I think? It's like comparison is the thief of joy. You know?
Yeah.
And I think with Knott's is like things just don't feel completely up to snuff, or they feel very fair-like, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's that it's not a fair.
Right.
So then, like, you know, the little hats, the door is a gate. And that's just like, but the door is not a gate on the teacups. It's just a cutout from the teacup. Yeah. And it's just like, you can't tell me don't compare this to the teacups. It is the teacups. Right?
Yeah.
And then.
No, I see what you're saying.
Like
there's things, but to explain that, I think what it is at Knott's when you go, you can tell that they want to do that, but they just can't afford to.
But.
Which is a bummer.
I can't.
But you can tell that they want to.
I can give them a pass when I'm critiquing it.
Right.
But not in my enjoyment of it.
Yes.
So, but now it's like, okay, we have California Screamin'. It's a very modern roller coaster. I don't do it on purpose. You can see the structure, just like you can with Ghost Rider, but that's fine. Silver Bullet, I know there's no way around it. This is like a modern roller coaster.
Right.
But you just see the structure of a roller coaster.
Just the red structure. Yeah.
And that makes it less fun to me. Like, it's less themed. There's just a gate around it.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's a gate around Screamin', but there's like sand in there. It looks like you're at the beach. Like they theme it just enough.
Like just enough that you can look past.
Yeah, I'm not like, immersion. But it's
right. There's like one too many things to look past at Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, like the log flume ride. It's a log flume ride.
Yeah.
Right. What's it called?
The Timber Mountain log ride.
No, the other one. It sounds
Splash
like
Mountain?
Goliath.
Yeah. Oh wait, what are you talking about?
Hold on.
At Knott's?
Not log flume. Yeah. Knott's water ride.
Isn't it Timber Mountain? Timber Mountain log.
Hold on. Not Calico. Perilous Plunge.
Nope. It's not Perilous Plunge. Perilous Plunge is an old ride they used to have.
Yeah, but I think that's what I'm thinking of. Where it's just like.
Oh, just that? Oh, that's what you were thinking of?
It's just like it's a ride.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's like, you know, you compare it to Splash Mountain.
But to add to your point of like adding the sand and the beaches, all this stuff, I would argue that they are moving into that direction.
Yeah, they are now.
Hang Time. Things like Hang Time and stuff like that. Because Hang Time is their latest coaster. And they totally were like, we're going to put this on the boardwalk. We're going to make all of the track blue, like, you know, coastal ocean water blue. We're going to make the coaster vehicles look like surfboards, and we're going to put sand throughout the entire track area, coaster area, queue area, everything.
But it's still like you're just there and there's a roller coaster.
No, totally.
That's
but at least
I'm not like,
trying.
oh, this is like a terrible thing.
Right. But you can tell that they're trying. Would Six Flags do that? No. It would be a white coaster. It would be a white coaster because that's the cheapest thing that they can make it.
Yeah. So,
but they're trying.
But like,
and you can tell that if they had a little bit more money, they would probably do more stuff.
Yeah.
They probably would.
But that's, I think, what, like, you know, you can't help but compare things to Disneyland. Because you go there all the time. They're next to each other, basically. And so I think that's like part of my thing, especially like Universal. When I went there, I understood if you love movies, you love this because you're in a studio. The characters are walking around as if they are actors in character.
Yeah.
Like, that's not Fred. It's someone playing Fred from Scooby-Doo. But that's okay because he's supposed to be a guy playing Fred. The people in the windows, you know, it's like, oh, we're doing a funny thing, right? Funny thing. It's like, oh, why is Scooby-Doo walking past Dracula? It's like, oh, they're on a movie set.
Yeah.
It's funny to see that. Like when you watch like Big Fat Liar, you know, and they do those bits.
Around, they're like, oh, there's the...
And it's funny, right? So there's a Universal movie. So, yeah, now I've heard like...
Of all these, we've talked about all these things that exist.
Now,
all these different kinds of theme parks that exist.
Wandering in Disney was here, Andrew, and he was saying how Orlando is like a bad Universal, besides the tram tour, compared to not Orlando, Hollywood.
Oh,
he was like, I'm like, oh, I've been to Universal Hollywood. I don't like it. He goes, it's not a good Universal park because the tram tour is amazing, obviously.
Yeah,
but he's like, overall, it's not Universal's strongest park.
No, I would agree.
So we have Orlando that has the room.
Yeah.
So but people really like Universal Studios Hollywood. But do they, or do they really like the tram tour?
I think it's because they really like the tram tour, and they really like. I think people are really mind blown by the fact that it's at a working studio. I think that's what it is. For me, a lot of Universal, when I think of like the nostalgia of Universal, when I'm like, man, I can't wait to get back, it really kind of is a lot of the times just me thinking about the rides that I miss. There's like specific rides, there's specific shows, specific attractions that I miss. Whereas like I wouldn't really want to like go sit in the Hollywood section of Universal Studios Florida. However, right now, if you offered me like, hey, do you want to pay $40 to go sit on Main Street? I would. Because again, it does not have that like extra sauce that Disneyland has.
But you like the studio aspect of Hollywood?
I think it's cool. So, but the thing is, it's only cool when you're on the tram tour. You don't really feel that anywhere else in the park. So everyone else in the park is just kind of a bad theme park. Because at least in Studios Florida, it's like I went yesterday because I took cousins for the first time.
But what? Okay, so
and I got tickets for free.
Okay, so what did you enjoy about it yesterday besides the tram tour?
What I enjoy about it yesterday, I enjoy my highlights. When I think of my highlights, I enjoyed my time in Nintendo and I enjoyed my time in Harry Potter, because those are the parts that didn't feel like a bad theme park. Those are the parts that felt like, oh wow, cool, I'm in this immersive, separate little world. And I think Universal recognizes that they do that the best, and they do that better than anyone else. And so
because they're building giant movie sets,
right? And I think that's why, to address our last point, because I want to skip the other point because of time. That's why I am really excited to see what Epic Universe feels like when we finally are able to go.
The Celestial Park and all that kind of stuff. Like,
right. Like, I'm so interested to see what is the experience like entering the park, entering Celestial Park, walking around through Celestial Park and experiencing that. And then deciding like, okay, we're going to enter this universe. We're going to enter this land. We're going to enter this world, right? That is going to be very interesting to me. And I've talked with Jeff, our friend Jeff, a lot about it. And Jeff is like vehemently against it. He's very against this idea that you can't get from Nintendo straight into the Monsters Land. That if you want to get into the Monsters Land and you're in Nintendo, you have to leave Nintendo and then go cross over to the Monsters Land. He loves the idea that at Disneyland, you can just step straight from Fantasyland into Frontierland and into Galaxy's Edge, just like that.
You go from Fantasyland to Tomorrowland, and it's just separated by a lagoon and a mountain, and it makes sense. You're like, all right.
Yeah, and you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But
yeah, you have to go in and out of the portals.
you have to. There's one way in, one way out.
That's rough.
See, it's not, because you go to Nintendo right now in Hollywood and it's crammed and it works.
People complain about how crammed it is
Really?
and how hot it gets during the summer because it's a little valley.
No, but I'm saying the entering, exiting. Yes, the land
Yeah.
itself is crammed, but the entering, exiting, not a problem. And in fact, I love it because it does make the land feel more special. Galaxy's Edge kind of doesn't feel as special as when it did when you were entering it for the first time and you knew, like, once I leave, I can't get back in. Like, when it had that feeling, it was like, oh man, I want to like soak up this land. I want to make the most of this land, you know? And when you pass through a land, it kind of makes it feel less like sacred or less immersive or something like that.
Yeah, but then there's also like you have options in Disneyland where we've been like, let's exit through the castle because we want to. We haven't walked through the castle in a while instead of let's go through Tomorrowland. But then there's like, I'm not going to exit through anything at all. I'm going to go on the monorail, you know? So you have those options.
Yeah, but also at the same
like
time,
Cars
too,
Land, you want it. Well, Cars Land has 2 amazing entrances.
right? Yes, no. Cars Land is another great example where I feel like
But they do it with 2 instead of 1.
but they do it with 2. Which I think they're it's gonna kind of be 2, because in Nintendo, no one's forcing you to not go back through Peach's Castle and go through the pipes. It's kind of like, hey, we're gonna like advertise that this is the entrance, but like you could go through the exit or through the entrance or whatever if you wanted to. But it's I really like the fact that they kind of like design like, hey, this is the entrance and this is the exit, because, and I'll tell you why, because it does make entering and exiting feel a lot more special. Like if we're talking about Harry Potter, it's like, yeah, no matter what, you enter and you exit and you have to either wave to the conductor like, hey, welcome, or see you next time. And like something about that and seeing the train and the whistle, it does kind of like, oh, I can't wait to come back, you know? And then Nintendo, what's really fun about Nintendo, the whole warp pipe thing is so fun, and entering through Peach's Castle was really fun in the first initial reveal of everything. And if you really are a Nintendo fan, the exit hits because they played the ending theme to I think it's Super Mario World. The do 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 do. They just play. They literally, it's just that song, just on loop, and that's the exit pipe. And so, and then another example is Diagon Alley. Diagon Alley is one way in, one way out. Of course, there's the train, but like if you're just walking in and out of the land, there's one way in, one way out. And when you walk in, they are every time for you recreating the experience that Harry had when he first saw Diagon Alley, where you can hear the brakes, you know, shifting and breaking apart and opening and revealing this land. So that to me is really cool. And I think that does like a really big thing, because frankly, Galaxy's Edge doesn't have that. People talk about the like little loop that they play, but like that's not really anything.
I think the thing with Galaxy's Edge is it's trying to be like all roads lead to the Millennium Falcon. You're going and finding the big thing. Where you're slowly getting immersed into the land, and then you get to like your goal, and it's like, whoa, it's the big reveal, where like you want to get to the heart of it, you want to transition into it, because the whole thing is transitioning into it. They don't want the break, they want the Disneyland thing.
Right.
In Disneyland, I thought of this as you were saying, like the train conductor. In Disneyland, you don't say goodbye to anything. You're just always there. Right, you're like a citizen of Disneyland, right? That's a thing they
like
do.
You're gonna come back.
Yeah, you have your passport, which is what the tickets and even the passes were technically a daily passport and an annual passport, where you have a passport to the lands and you're just here, like you're traveling through everything. Totally. So not that that's like better or worse, but I think that's the point where like, yeah, Universal, say hello and say goodbye. You roll the credits. Yeah, in a way. Right.
I think that like Galaxy's Edge, I think that the little like entrance tunnels, that music would work so well if they were playing motifs throughout the land.
I think the land should have music.
The land needs music.
You
I am not a Harry Potter fan. I get so nostalgic about the land, and it's entirely because of the music.
Okay, I played the Harry Potter game, and they purposely rewrote the score, but they weren't afraid because they have the license and whatever to use motifs from John Williams' score, but it's its own thing. But it's its own thing. They nailed the Harry Potter vibe.
And you want to know who else did that? Star Wars Battlefront. The new Star Wars Battlefront games did the same thing, where they took the motifs that you know from the movie,
the horns and trumpets and stuff, but it's not all the time.
Like, and it's not all the time. It's not just themes constantly playing, because that's what people think. They're like, oh, you just want like the themes, just dun 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 dun. You just want that over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, no, dude. Think about all of the in between music when the rebels are debriefing. Boom, dun 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 dun. Like just little things like that. Like I want to hear like the Dagobah music, the mystery, like.
Well, think of how great it is when you walk past the cantina.
When I'm going through the. Yes. No, that's the thing. It's like, yes, the Millennium Falcon needs to be triumphant. It needs to be triumphant when you're in that area. When you're in front of Rise of the Resistance, it needs to be that like dun da da dun. Like it feels like we're building to a giant battle. It's the music that they played in Hoth when they're waiting around in Hoth. It's the music that they play in Return of the Jedi when they're talking about taking down the second Death Star. Like I can go on and on and on. Like there's music for all different kinds of Star Wars moods and vibes, and like they could totally like it's such a mistake. I think it's the biggest missed opportunity in theme parks right now to not play music.
And I think the parts where they don't play music would have more of an effect too.
I was going to say that too.
Outside of the marketplace where it is quiet, I kind of like it.
Yeah, where it's just the sounds of the marketplace.
You can kind of hear it, and then you just like you see steam and whatever.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, if they were like, listen, we'll put music, but we won't put it in the marketplace. I think that's
in the marketplace. I think would be good.
I think
where
either
the stalls are.
Either
I'm
way,
outside. You know the outer walkway.
Oh, where you just hear the radio faintly or whatever.
Yeah,
sure.
I like that there kind of isn't anything.
Sure.
Where you hear sounds. And you're like, oh, there's something in there. You see steam out of like Ronto. And you're like, yeah, that's the town.
Totally.
I'm in this walkway where I hear the animals.
Yeah.
And it works. So
it would literally, it would help that land so
you haven't
much.
seen the Star Wars fireworks, right?
No, I haven't.
So you might have been on the episode, I don't remember. When like all I needed to know, or all anyone needs to know, is that everyone clapped and cheered at the end. Because they got, for a minute, we just dropped the shtick. Star Wars
wish fulfilled.
Yeah, we dropped the shtick. We played Star Wars music. We're in a theme park. We know we're in a theme park. Yeah. You're not tricking anyone, right? And you go and you see it, and then at some point, Duel of the Fates starts. And I was with someone who worked for Disney in their like music department, and he said, "Oh, of course." But he was just making the comment like, of course they had to play this, but also he goes, he made this comment of like, you need to hear Star Wars on a sound system like this, and you rarely do. Because unless you're watching Star Wars in a movie theater, where are you hearing Star Wars in bombastic surround sound at like Disney quality? Where these are the speakers that play the sounds of TIE fighters flying over you, and it works. And they're doing this with like this beautiful score of the highest quality of the score because they own it. And it's vaguely synced to the fireworks. And you're like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm in Star Wars right now.
Yeah. Also,
and it doesn't make sense for a second. And it's fine.
It's fine. But also, it's because John Williams is one of the greatest artists of all time. I just saw a video the other day of I don't remember who the musician was. Some musician got asked, like, who's your favorite artist? And he straight up said John Williams. He's not a composer. He's someone who makes like pop music or metal or whatever. He said John Williams. And you know what? He's in my top 3. Like if I really think about it, he's definitely in my top 3. He's probably in a lot of people's top 3 and top 5, and they don't even realize it. Dude, to really tie things all together with the other parks we were talking about, dude, I remember one time feeling I got like swept with emotion. at Six Flags once. You want to know where it was? In front of the Superman ride, because they were just playing all of John Williams' Superman themes. And they were playing the romantic themes too. It wasn't just bum, 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 over and over and over and over and over again. No, they're playing Lois and Clark's theme.
They had him do a song for Galaxy's Edge.
I know, and it's great. And they don't ever play it. They play 5 seconds of it on the ride, and then they're like, that's it.
Well, I think now, at least with the Pixar Fest fireworks, it begins with his theme. If not, ends with it.
Yeah, okay, because I know they're like kind of switching up the fireworks, the Star Wars music depending on what fireworks show.
Yeah, I think this newest one,
it's syncing up
it starts with the Galaxy's Edge theme.
But yeah,
and then it ends with the Star Wars
anyone theme. That has said otherwise about the John Williams music, it's just wrong. It's just flat out wrong. Wrong. So wrong. Again, I felt something in a Six Flags, and it was because I heard John Williams music.
Do you think he would write more music for the theme park?
I think he would, but also you don't need to.
But it would be, I'm not saying like, oh, they're not doing it because he wouldn't, because he wrote the one thing. Like, I know he's Mr. Like, I'm totally going to retire.
I think he is already retired.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think he's doing anything right now. I think he's done.
But I feel like he would do it for a theme park because it's like, oh, this is a real thing in the real world.
You want to know a fun little fact? To go back to Universal, because we do need to wrap up with Universal, because we kind of brushed past that. John Williams, the first time he ever wrote something for a theme park was actually for the ET ride. He wrote and scored the music because he had to like make like a new arrangement of his theme for when you go to the Green Planet. And yeah, that was the first time that he made music for a theme park ride ever. I think it was ET Adventure and then Star Tours.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really talk about Epic Universe besides going in and out of the portals.
Yeah.
The big thing is...
Because let me just say, Epic Universe, I think there's two reasons why people are so insanely hyped for it right now. One, we haven't talked about, and one is something that we have been talking about. So let's talk about the thing we have been talking about. We've been talking about Universal being really good at wish fulfillment. Everything that you want, aside from arguably Mario Kart, everything that you could want from any of those IPs, they are delivering. And even down to the things that are non-IP, even down to just the things that are just in Celestial Park, they are delivering. Like, there's a coaster. It's themed to your comets. It's a roller coaster. Perfect. Great.
Vaguely Atlantis themed, though, which people like.
Which people love. The theme, the theme is like something people really have never really seen before in a theme park. And then also, they're kind of just like, there's no rules. Like, this is a cool idea, so we want to do it. There's an entire like trip to the moon pizza restaurant. That's the original science fiction film. And they just are like, we're just going to make this pizza restaurant themed after this movie. And we're going to go full on out with this like, Discoveryland French Jules Verne aesthetic just because it's cool. And then across the way, there's going to be a tiki bar along the water. No reason, just because it's cool. And so that part is cool. But then you get into the specific IPs and you go to How to Train Your Dragon. What do people want? They want to feel like they're flying on the back of a dragon. That's what they do in the movie. That's what you're going to do. Done. You want to meet dragons? Done. You want to see a dragon fly? Done. There's a show for that. And then you go to Harry Potter. Okay, what have we not done? Ministry of Magic? Boom, you're in that scene. You're doing it.
From Fantastic Beasts.
No, from Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. All the stuff with the elevators and stuff. Boom, you're doing it. And then Fantastic Beasts. You want to see all those Fantastic Beasts? Boom, there's an entire show in a circus tent. It's going to be nothing but just you interacting with the beasts. Go to Universal Monsters. I want to see all the monsters. Done.
The spooky people, dude.
Here they are. Here's all the monsters.
And the score.
You want to become one? You can become one. There's going to be an entire, like, you know how there's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique?
Yeah.
There's going to be Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, like, turn you into a monster boutique. Because that's what people want. Great.
And who's doing the score?
Should we say?
Well, do we know?
I guess, we do know. Danny Mother Elfman. Very exciting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Dude, do you want to know something crazier? Should I drop this on the podcast?
Yeah. Trammin exclusive?
The Trammin exclusive. This is not known yet. Oh, no, I shouldn't say. No, I'm not gonna say, but I'll tell you when the mics are off. There's another very big.
Everyone's so mad right now.
Yeah. Okay. All I'll say is there's a big theme park project. I'm looking at something on this counter right now. There's a big theme park project coming out very soon in the next few years in a Disney park somewhere internationally. And the score is being done by the guy who did Back to the Future and the Avengers movies. Anyways, and also Polar Express, which is one of my favorite scores of all time. But anyways, and then you get to Nintendo, and Nintendo is doing wish fulfillment too with like, I love Yoshi. I want to ride on the back of Yoshi. Done. Mario Kart. That's debatable. Donkey Kong. I want to jump around on the Mario Karts. Done. It's just, they're just nailing it. And so that's one thing that I feel like that's why everyone's so hyped, is because they're seeing all these things from all these properties, and it's delivering exactly what they would want to see from those properties, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other reason why people are so excited is because we're getting all of these concepts being released, all these fly-throughs, all these concept videos, whatnot, all these announcements. And it's so exciting because if you know anything about Universal, you know that what you see is what you get. Disney, not the case. Not the case at all. And we know this. Like it's been very publicly like talked about, and it's very public knowledge that like when they release concept art, you better take it with a massive fat Disney Mickey churro size grain of salt, because you're probably not going to get that thing if you're going to get it at all. Whereas Universal, when they announce something, that is what you're getting 100% to a T. And in fact, there's probably more to what you're getting than what they're telling you, which has definitely already been the case with Epic Universe. Like a great example is they announced Dark Universe, and they announced so many things coming to Dark Universe. They talked about the 2 rides. They talked about the bar and the restaurant and just the walking through experience, and the fact that there's going to be roaming characters all the time, and the dress up monsters experience, all of that stuff. And then you go on the blog and you just keep reading, and there's more information. Like how there's going to be 2 different fuel types for the spinning, burning wheel bar, so that one type of fuel makes the fire look really good during the day, and then the other type of fuel makes the fire look really good at night. Crazy. Or another crazy thing is them just dropping in a little article on the website, not even the main video. Oh, by the way, Phantom of the Opera is going to be on that Universal Monsters ride, and there's going to be a part in the ride where you see him and he's playing a pipe organ shooting up 8-foot tall flames.
Huh?
The fact that they had something like that in their back pocket, and they were like, we're not going to put that in the video. We'll just put that on the side as an article. That's why people are excited, because they know that they can trust Universal with what they're announcing. What they already see is already amazing enough. And then there's the expectation too of like, well, what else is there going to be that they haven't even dropped yet? Because there's lots of stuff. Celestial Park, I only know about some of the restaurants because of leaks that I've seen years and years and years ago. There's a lot of stuff they didn't talk about in the video. They like didn't get into like 2 entire restaurants. Didn't even talk about them. So
my problem then, is it that most places aren't fulfilling my wishes? That I don't have
with
the
theme
same
parks.
Yeah, that I don't have the same wishes that many people do. The one thing, I don't even know if it's ironically, Tron. My one, if you could say like, what's your one movie wish, right? Ride a light cycle, straight up, right? But
Yeah.
then you go to Universal, and I don't care about most of the things, right? Like I don't care about Despicable Me. I actually rode Back to the Future, but like
So jealous.
I was never like a big Back to the Future person. I didn't really, whatever. I rode E.T., but like I'd seen E.T. once, but it was a very cool ride, very well themed, the forest and all that. Like that still stands out in my mind.
Yeah.
But then like I went to Universal recently with Kimmy, and I love Harry Potter. There's only one thing that fulfilled my wish, and that was the queue of the Forbidden Journey. Because the wish fulfillment of Harry Potter, the biggest thing is going to Hogwarts. And that was a big strength and big weakness of the game. Because big strength, dude, you can explore the entirety of Hogwarts. Whatever you see from the outside is physically there on the inside.
Crazy.
35 hours in, I discovered an entire new wing that I just missed.
Wow.
And the music is great. It's very smooth, whatever. But the thing it didn't fulfill, you didn't really go to class. It wasn't a simulator.
Which, something people have not talked about this. One of the reasons why I'm so upset with how much of a failure Star Cruiser was because secretly, even though I was like very anti it and I thought it was horribly executed and blah 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 and all that stuff, and I was mad that it had all the things that were promised in the land and yada yada yada, I did secretly want it to succeed because I knew if it succeeded, Universal was gonna build a Harry Potter hotel, and you know that it was just gonna be Hogwarts Student Simulator 3000.
The idea of Galactic
of you
Star
going
Cruiser,
to class and you doing wand, and you know that Universal was going to execute it perfectly.
the idea
You know,
of Galactic Star Cruiser was genius.
amazing.
It just couldn't execute it.
Horribly
And
executed.
honestly, I don't think, based off of what they said, they couldn't. The price was high.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have financially executed it because everyone was like, I know they weren't really paid like actors,
Yeah.
but it's like people were in costume and makeup and they had like multiple roles and
dude,
train
I
and whatever.
think that Universal still could execute a Harry Potter experience.
But now they're probably afraid.
They're definitely.
And again,
Which is a shame because I know that they would do it and it would be successful because they would do it right.
yeah. So, but also everyone wants to be like the special Harry Potter kid, not random Hufflepuff, right? I mean, many people do,
Sure.
but yeah. So I think that might be my problem. Where like Animal Kingdom, I don't think there was any wish it could have fulfilled for me. Like I liked it, right?
Yeah.
Epcot, all my wishes are dead.
What do you mean?
Like my wish is like all the videos of old weird Epcot.
Yeah. Right.
It's gone.
And now it's just very like stale and it's very just like
Ricardo and I were saying like they should have just leaned into the 80s brutalist aesthetic. And half of Communicore or the other side of like the what is it, Creations, kept that really cool building. I'm like, oh, cool round concrete. And then the other side is like whatever, right? And so it's like halfway there, but they've given up on it. So that wish is gone. I don't wish to walk around the world. I'd rather just go there. Test track, I want to drive the fast car, right? And that's just like, when you gun it on the on-ramp is more fun than test track.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, what else? Like, what other parks? I haven't been to Magic Kingdom and stuff, but
It's
like,
very funny because like I've noticed in the last couple of years that like for the longest time they were trying to go away from edutainment Epcot. And it's very ironic that kind of most people's favorite ride is Living with the Land.
I liked it. I still liked it. I think the queue was trash, but like,
I don't like it because I don't like what they changed about it. Like I want that Living with the Land song. I'm mad that that's not part of it. But that being said, like, yeah, it's like the only edutainment thing still left. And it's very ironic that that's what they thought that, again, Disney acting like, no, we know what you guys want. And then it's like, in reality, it's like, well,
although
no,
Cosmic
dude.
Rewind is like,
Cosmic Rewind's amazing. But Cosmic Rewind's fun because they lean into the Epcot thing of like, let's make this a pavilion. Let's make this a showcase where you're going to learn about this fake planet.
I think
that I
Cosmic-
really liked.
I
Like
think-
it made it fit into Epcot very well.
besides the music, Cosmic Rewind would have been better without the Guardians of the Galaxy.
You know that's how it was originally pitched, right? It was just supposed to be a Big Bang roller coaster. And,
Yeah, that's like an old
for
idea
like
they
the
had, right?
Oldest idea, like long time they had this idea, and then they were like, "Well, wait, now we have Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's just do that. Let's finally make our Big Bang roller coaster, but with Guardians."
Yeah, like if they were just like, this is Space Mountain now, like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm in. So yeah, I think it's just yeah, I think you cracked the whole wish fulfillment thing. When I go to Disneyland, my wish is to go to Disneyland and ride the rides that I'm used to. And not used to, but I like.
Yeah.
I love new things, right? But like when I go to Epcot, my wish fulfillment is going to be to go to like the backs of the pavilions, like really slowly walk through them. And that's why like people say it's a 2-day park, and to go on Cosmic Rewind again, right? But like my wish fulfillment would be going on World of Motion, but it's gone.
Mhm.
It would be going on like what's the other thing that's kind of gone? Oh,
like
the old
Horizons
Figment thing.
and- Yeah,
The original one.
Yeah.
Horizons, dude, huge.
huge.
That actually looks awesome to me.
World of Motion, huge.
Now, I will say, it's because Horizons does also look kind of terrible at the same time. Does that make sense?
It looks like
Old and dated, but like I'm into
it's
it.
old and dated.
But I'm into it
Yeah,
because it's like this. It's
not as bright as you would want it to be, and like
it's like vaporwave almost,
yeah,
like
sure.
like liminal spaces, old malls, you know, that kind of thing. But
God,
so yeah, there's
want that back so bad.
so there's that, and then like yeah, Universal. What's like here the Forbidden Journey? I didn't like it. Right.
Yeah,
It was the ride system was not good.
So it's really just the tram.
Yeah. The tram is like that's not even a wish fulfillment for me. I just like it. It's just like it's a good ride. But like what else is there at Universal? Secret Life of Pets, no desire for anything there. As much I love video games.
Yeah,
I loved Super Mario Odyssey and like the 3D Mario games, but I'm not a Mario guy.
Yeah.
I never really grew up with Nintendo. Pokemon is a bigger one, right? If there's a Pokemon world, probably be more interested. The thing with Harry Potter too is I know we only have Hogsmeade.
yeah.
You can't really do. It's half a wish fulfillment. You're there, but you're not really. You're still in a theme park. Everyone's in backpacks and shorts,
Florida's
and it's
just
hot.
perfect because the fact that you can get on the train and go ride it over to Hogsmeade and then go ride it over
It's
to
that, like,
Diagon Alley. It's just like you just can't compare.
Outside of Hogsmeade was a cart with like tall cans of Modelo. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it didn't. I wanted to be more immersive.
Yeah,
in
it's like you can in Orlando, you can start in England. There's the section is England first. It's England. There's like the tall bus. There's like the little like phone booths.
yeah.
There's the apartments, and then there's the London Metro. It's literally just the London Metro, and you can go through there and start your Harry Potter journey through there, or you can go through Diagon Alley and start it through there. Like, yeah, it's just no. There's no comparing it to here.
Yeah. So I think maybe that's my thing with like why it's like I do love the scientific like Freddy approach to theme parks.
Yeah.
But that's not enough for me to like it. I've just attached myself to like the Disneyland thing. Like, you know, everyone kind of chooses their lane, right?
Yeah.
So like I know you are making like other movies, but you like the documentary style or the
No, I know what you mean.
like you have like this kind of lane.
It's a thing that you kind of start off with and stuff like that. Like you do get comfortable and stuff because yeah, you are right. Like whenever I make anything that's not a documentary, I always like kind of like have this like feeling of like I don't have the same feeling making those things as I do with documentaries.
Like
When
you
I
made
make
the
a
horror film
documentary,
that's not really out, but
but like the whole time I was making it, I was a little stressed. I was like, how is this gonna go? You know, and like ironically, documentaries which are way more unpredictable, and you kind of have less control, I kind of feel more comfortable in because of the fact that like I was really starting off my filmmaking journey in that space. And so when I make documentaries, I do kind of feel more comfortable.
yeah.
So I
Like,
do see what you're saying, where you're like you can appreciate stuff and you can have fun with certain stuff, but no matter what, nothing's gonna be like that first thing that you fell in love with. And I think that's the case with like just everything,
yeah,
really.
movies and books and whatever.
And
like
music. Oh my god, music especially. Think about
I'm
how,
never gonna like country music.
Yeah,
It's not gonna happen.
Oh my god, but if your parents listen to country music,
Yeah.
you would love it.
Like I love classic rock, and my friends got me into EDM, but I was in high school.
Yeah,
Where you're still like I went to raves and stuff, and like I got really into it. I'm not gonna pick up a third genre.
Yeah, I know lots of people that like hate Latin music, but like my dad, I grew up listening to Latin music, and so there's like a pipeline for like Latino kids, where like at some point you just like one day you start cleaning the house, and then you put that on, or it comes on, and then next thing you know, you're like, it happened.
Yeah.
I became my parents, or I became my grandma and grandpa. You know.
Yeah, so it's like I never got into like Alien, and I'm just not gonna get into Alien. It's like a lane that people are in, right?
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that's it. It's not like Disneyland's familiar. It's that it's the thing I liked and continue to like, and that
But you still need to try new stuff because you never know, because you might
went
not
to
be into
Universal.
Alien, but then you might watch it, and then you might love
No,
it.
yeah.
You know,
It's not
'Cause,
that I'm never
for the
gonna
longest
go.
time, like I thought, like horror's not for me. For the longest time, I thought horror's not for me. Then I gave it a try and gave it a try and gave it a try, and now I love it. Absolutely love it. You
But
know.
I've seen random horror films where I'm like, this isn't for me. And it's like, I will, Kimmy wants to go to Epic Universe one day. I'll go with her, right?
Oh, we're all gonna go.
I don't know about
Group
that.
trip. Yeah, we're gonna go.
So,
But yeah, I think you nailed it.
like, you like what you like. You try new things. I think it's that when they don't hit, it's because it's maybe just not part of the thing. Like, it's like how I might actually like Magic Kingdom because I like Disneyland so much, and
Which is crazy to hear.
right, but doesn't it make sense
I mean, it does make sense.
compared to the other
Here's
parts
the thing,
over
dude.
there?
To
I
end,
know,
to-
dyslexic
to end-
Disneyland.
No. To end this, I cannot wait for you to go to Disneyland Paris. You will die. You will die over Disneyland Paris
What does
because
that mean?
Disneyland, you'll love it. Disneyland Paris, I'll just pitch it to you. Disneyland Paris is, what if you took a bunch of people who were mega Disneyland fans and Michael Eisner came to them and said, here's unlimited money, make Disneyland better. Which you say to yourself, how do you make Disneyland better? You can't make Disneyland better. So what you do is you just sit around and you just go to Disneyland and you just think like, well, it's already kind of perfect. Is there anything more we can do? And they just add things that you're like, yeah, I never thought of that. But now that you did it, you kind of did solve them.
Well, yeah,
They like found problems that like you would never think of. Like a great example is you go on the train and every train car is in a C shape because sometimes you want to sit facing out. Sometimes you want to sit facing forward. But the thing is, if you're waiting in line for the train, you don't know which of the trains you're going to get. At Disneyland Paris, you're always going to be able to have the option because they made every car a C shape. Genius. It's never it's not a problem at
where's
Disneyland.
Maleficent? Go see the dragon.
Yeah.
Right? And even like everyone talks trash about the Magic Kingdom teacups because they're just on flat ground. Our teacups are like sunken in, have the cool lanterns, and they're like, over there, what do we do? It's like, we build this like greenhouse looking thing. And like, and their thing, they said in the Imagineering story, they wanted to make the most beautiful Disney park.
Oh, it's
and
gorgeous.
it's like, what if we just took Disneyland and make it very pretty?
It's gorgeous.
Too. And it's like,
gorgeous.
The castle looks great.
Hey, just saying this now, Frontierland, Disneyland Paris, top 3.
They have the island.
Top
That's
3
Big Thunder, right?
Yeah, it's top 3, in my opinion, top 3 theme
So
parks
it's like
ever. Theme park lands ever.
So
it's insanely gorgeous. It's I will say that it's the prettiest theme park land ever built. Like you can tell that like Tony Baxter and his team, they put the most amount of love into Frontierland. And Frontierland has a really cool backstory to it because Big Thunder and Phantom Manor are connected in this really cool way.
So yeah, I think it's that it's a little bit of wish fulfillment, a little bit of nostalgia, and just like general interest.
Romantic vibes.
Well, yeah, and general interest and what I'm looking for. Where like I'm not looking for thing to do.
Yeah.
I am looking for place to be and thing to feel. And that's what Disneyland and DCA does for me too.
Yeah.
And I've learned to love DCA in different ways as it's changed, right? Where I became like the food and wine person, and now that's becoming a whole different thing. But that's what I've been into, and so I think I'm more, as much as I'm operationally interested in theme parks, it's Disneyland because they are very secretive and weird, and I like how secretive and weird they are.
Yeah,
like, they are weirdos, right? Different than like Universal's like, we're just going to show you what we're doing. And Disney's we built a robot Spider-Man in a secret lab.
Yeah. No, right? I see what you're saying.
It's just like, it's odd and I'm into it.
Yeah.
And I think it's part of the lore. And we all love lore too. Mm-hmm. So it's just like
the mysticism.
Yeah. I think I enjoy that. I like fantasy.
There's a lot of mysticism.
I like fantasy. I like not real things. Like I always tell Kimmy, like, I don't like coming of age films. I don't generally like books set in like the modern world. Like I'm like, I live in the modern world. I don't want to read about it.
Yeah,
I like nature books, but that's
escapism.
Yeah.
And Disneyland is peak escapism. There's no other.
Everything is happy here, and it's like oh, that's a problem. It's like, no, dude, I'll go watch a sad movie if I want to be sad. I don't want to go to the sad place.
Yeah.
You know? So
That is why for me, if I were to rank my favorite theme parks of all time, I would say that number 1 is Disneyland. And then number 2 is Islands of Adventure. Because I do think that both of those parks just nail the just like escapism of just like we are just going to take you to just a whole different place that you just can't even describe. Because you start off on Main Street.
My most
travel back
hype
in time.
is Disney Sea. And then number 2 would be Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
Because Disney Sea is really like you're somewhere else.
Yes.
And what Andrew was saying, he goes, the way they set it up is the way it's elevated, whatever. There is actually a street outside of it, but you can't see it. You can see the ocean outside of the land, and it's the real ocean.
It's a real
and
ocean.
He goes, you just, it's, they.
Can you believe that was supposed to come to Long Beach?
Crazy.
Anyways.
Rip. So yeah. I hope we fulfilled the wish here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't.
The listeners' wish.
I think I fulfilled the goal of why or what do I love and why don't I love things. It might love S.O.S.
This has been theme park therapy with Matthew Serrano.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. Why it's not the same anywhere else. We will see more about Walt Disney World as I go back and go to the other 2 parks.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just interested in Magic Kingdom because I know it's not going to be great. I know I'm going to be like, man.
Yeah. Also, I realized you did sneak the last topic I was trying to skip, you son of a gun.
But not really. We didn't go into
we didn't go into it.
I wasn't going to anyway. It was just like the general, like, why don't I care, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'm rushing because Disneyland Resort closes in 2 hours and I really want to slip in.
There's no way you're going to get a Dole
I will. Let's finish this.
All right. So that is our Big Thunder topic. So if this is your final stop.
Thanks for trying with us today.
And if not, it's time for We Have It So Good, where we in the Tram fam talk about our trips to Disney parks and more. Right in with your trip recaps at trammin.com/ask. No, we pause so I can cut the topic for the topic only. I just mess with you.
Okay. I just saw that We Have It So Good.
Yeah, no, I was just like, well, now we're in the part where the topic only people are gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye.
So I usually will mute it, and it's like you see the gap, and you know where it is instead of writing timestamps. Because now I have to edit.
That's what I figured. But then at some point it got so long that I was like, wait, does he think I'm supposed to say no. It's time for? Okay. Anyways.
It says my name there.
All right.
So hold on. I need some water.
Okay.
We're getting at the end of this. We do love trammin.com/ask, and I got an email from there this week. We only have one write-in.
And I see the name.
Christian Rainwater writes in, Hola, Kirk and Matthew.
I think he says in parentheses.
Week 1 of the great hiatus has been going pretty well. He hasn't experienced the hiatus as of writing this.
I know. That's hilarious.
He recorded last week. I think he's just in the mentality of I'm not responsible for Trammin.
Yeah.
He says, I've been getting lots of wedding tasks taken care of, but still making time for Disneyland to keep from going crazy. Brandy and I went last Thursday for a quick after-work trip. We decided to try the Deadpool chimichanga at Pim's. I thought it elevated the standard Disney chimmy in every way possible, but Brandy still preferred the original from Smart and Final. The pico de gallo salad was definitely just condiments. We then hopped to Disneyland to look into getting silhouettes made for our wedding welcome table. I saw a cast member standing outside the location and asked, how does this work? He said, you line up here. With only 2 people in front of us, we said, perfect. The person named Lolita was a true master at her craft. It's insane that they do this all freehand. From there, we went to Jolly Holiday and split a strawberry croissant and chocolate croissant. Where are these? Oh, Jolly Holiday. I thought Plaza Inn. The chocolate croissant was definitely 10 out of 10, and the strawberry was great, but now overpriced at $8.29. We then got on the tram and went home. We have it so good. Sounds
Amazing.
great, Rain.
Yeah.
I want that chimmy, dude. I want to just pop in and get the chimmy.
So what's special with the chimmy? It's just that there's pico de gallo.
It's like a freshly made chimmy instead of
instead of the Smart and Final one.
Defrosted one.
Interesting.
And there's like actual like cheese and stuff in it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna? Should I find it?
Delicious.
Pim?
No, I saw a photo of it.
No, like the here.
Oh, like the listing.
I have it right here.
To see what the ingredients
I'm
are.
at Pim Test Kitchen. View menu. All right. Still sponsored by Impossible, but there's nothing in there. That's impossible. Okay. Oh, it's just called the chimichanga with seasoned beef, charred poblano, it's on the outside, refried beans, and shredded cheese on a pool of guajillo sauce with a pico de gallo side salad.
Dang, that does sound pretty good.
Because the one at Disney's just meat and possibly beans in there.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
think
cheese,
so.
really.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So
Still does hit, though.
yeah, but it's not quite the same.
No,
But
no,
hey, they
yeah.
got you, dude. Remember when you're like, missed opportunity with the chimmy, and they're like, here's the chimmy.
Yeah.
So good for them. I really
for
want to
them.
see the Deadpool stuff. I'm just like,
But why didn't he take a photo with it?
I don't know.
Just weird. Anyways,
you want to say anything about Universal?
oh yeah, my trip yesterday.
You want to talk about best attraction, highlight, best food?
I'll just say that our Universal, just to summarize yesterday, our Universal trip just kind of like worked out really perfectly. Like it was really nice. Like there was like 2 times where magic was kind of made for us. So my cousin Corin, he's a really big dude. He was a football player, like just big frame, super tall, like big, huge thighs. And so like we were just concerned about him fitting into any of the rides at Universal. And so one of the rides we were concerned about was the Mummy. And I was like, okay, let's just go do the test seat. So we went over, we did the test seat, and a team member was like, hey, it looks like you might fit, but let me just walk you guys through Express so you don't have to wait in this like 35-minute plus line, so that way if he doesn't fit, like you guys can go on it and then you won't feel like you wasted out on any time. And we were like, sure. I wonder if it's a new thing that they're doing now with like how many people complain about the restrictive ride seating.
Like, oh, I kind of fit in the thing, but I'm not sure.
So, hey, let's just give you basically Express for free. Like before.
Because I guess the
before you
test
complain,
one can't
it's kinda
lock.
like, right. They like don't want you to complain. So they're like, hey, before you complain, let's try this, which is very smart.
Because if you get in there and don't fit, it's like, dude, don't even get in line. But if you get in there and it comes down, it's like it might latch. And if it latches,
Right.
you're on.
Right. Because it is very finicky. And that's also annoying about Universal. But to our surprise, he got in and they recommended, by the way, if you're someone who's tall, plus size, just
Sorry, what ride was
bodied,
this?
Mummy at Universal Studios Hollywood. The back right seat is slightly larger than the rest of the seats. So he got in that one and he got in just fine. And so we basically just got Mummy with no wait. And then later that day, I was wearing a shirt that if anyone listening knows Mario and you know the character Birdo, Birdo has become very popular recently among Nintendo fans, especially amongst like LGBT and like Gen Z fans, because in the original manual for like Super Mario World, which I think is the first time she appeared, whether it was poor translation or whatever, they basically said that she is trans. And so now she's become this like trans icon. And so I have a shirt that has, I think it's Peach, Rosalina, and Birdo. And it says girl power on it. And it's from Amazon. It's one of my favorite shirts, unironically. I love it so much. And I wear it like every time that I'm going to Universal, especially when I know I'm doing Nintendo stuff. And so a team member was like, oh my God, is that Birdo on your shirt? And gave us Mario Kart Express.
That's nice.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
And then it was fun for my cousins to get to like see everything and try everything for the first time. They got to try butterbeer for the first time. We got to go to Toadstool.
Frozen butterbeer?
I think unanimously everyone kind of liked the frozen more. It was like my younger sibling and then my cousin Kayla, they liked the frozen butterbeer more, and then me and my cousin Corin liked the cold more. But
there's a soft serve now.
Yeah, I think it's like the hard pack or whatever they call it, whatever the term is. But like it's fine. The Orlando one is better. Because the one here, it's just whatever it's called when like the flavor is just kind of like on the sides, like in the 4 corners, like whatever that term is called. That sucks.
The cups?
No, like when the swirls, like when they like pump it out, the flavor is not like embedded in the ice cream. It's just like on the sides.
Just
like
make
a syrup.
the ice cream. Like
I know, it's stupid. I was really disappointed when I saw that they opened an ice cream shop in Harry Potter, and it was that type of ice cream. They love that type of ice cream at Hollywood. It's annoying. But yeah, it was a really fun day.
Best
It's just
food?
insanely hot. Best food. I know we're getting into one last bite, but I'll say that from yesterday, best food. Listen, you got to get that like superstar lemon squash drink that they have at Toadstool. It's that drink is so good, really, really good. It's like one of those sweet drinks that's like also refreshing. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. And then my personal favorite food item is the Luigi burger. I really love the Luigi burger a lot, and ask for extra pesto because they'll just give it to you for free.
That's the chicken thing, right?
Yeah, that's a chicken sandwich with a giant green bell pepper. On paper, it sounds like it would not be good, but that pesto sauce brings it together. The fries are delicious. It's great. I love it.
Cool. So yeah, I already mentioned that I went to the fair. It was cool, dude. Like all night, it was just a mariachi playing at the hangar, and I was like,
Nice.
"This is cool."
That's fun.
Yeah. And all I noticed is cowboy boots back in.
Don't know how I feel about that.
I was gonna say that same sentence. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It just feels like cosplay.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be wearing cowboy boots on asphalt.
Yeah. I think my thing with the cowboy boots and cowgirl hats and stuff like that is I was explaining this to Bree. We were like looking at some like candle in a Home Goods that had like it was like the chaperone like aesthetic of like the pink cowboy boots and the pink hat. And I told her like
I don't know what she looks like.
chaperone.
Yeah.
That's fine. I told her like when someone is wearing it and it's like fun, silly, and it's like that, like the chaperone, like we're just going to this concert and I'm just gonna wear this like pink extravagant like cowboy boots outfit or whatever, right? Like when it's like a one-time thing, when it's clearly like a one-time thing, it's very fun and I'm very into it. But when it's clearly like these are real leather and I got these from the saloon or I got these from the rodeo and this is my life and this is my thing, I'm like anti that. I think that's where I land.
Yeah, they're combining with the boho aesthetic, which is very funny.
Yeah.
They're wearing the boho hat.
And both of those aesthetics suck.
Yeah. Fall is coming.
Yeah.
All right. I had a good time though. Weather was great. Not too much issue. Except parking, but that's always,
Yeah.
But it was cool. Shout out to Tasty Chips. All right. Matthew, what time is it?
It's
Pizza time.
It's time for one last bite. Matthew, what is the best thing you tasted this week?
Oh, man. I had a friend who came over and visited this week from out of state. And he was like, I was asking him like, okay, while you're in California, like, let's go get lunch. Like, what is something that you want to get? And he said, one of the things he said was, he was like, listen, when I think of California, I think of sushi. I want to get some sushi.
Really?
And I was like, okay, great. Let's do it. And I told him, look, have you ever heard of Sushi Stop? Because I'm not a sushi connoisseur. But here's the thing about Sushi Stop.
No.
It's sushi that you can ball out on and actually get full on and spend less than $30.
Yeah, no.
And name another place where I can do that.
But you're not eating sushi at this point.
Yeah, you are. Listen, Sushi Stop, the reason why they're able to keep their costs low is because the father and son are like actually going out. And I've like seen videos about this. Like they actually go out and they pick the fish out themselves and they drive the trucks themselves. And like, who knows? Maybe that's a lie. Maybe that's not true. Whatever. But like the fish, I've never felt sick from eating Sushi Stop. It's delicious. It's great. It's super popular. They have multiple locations. And my favorite thing to get there is the dynamite scallop roll. And so that's the best thing that I've tasted this week.
I'm a fish on rice type sushi person. Like
Oh yeah, well I got a rainbow roll.
No.
I got a rainbow
No.
roll.
Nigiri.
Yeah, nigiri
And sashimi.
and sashimi.
Salmon sashimi all day long, dude. Just like drape it over my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a roll guy. Unless it's like a hand roll.
I'm not a hand roll guy.
That's good stuff.
Not really.
But I love fish and stuff. So.
Yeah, I love the taste of fish. That's why I like the rainbow roll because you get the best of both worlds. You get the taste of fish, and you also get like a bite of imitation crab.
I hate
roll,
imitation crab.
I love
It
imitation
makes
crab.
me gag.
Really?
Yeah. Not like
I feel
a
that.
snooty
No,
thing. Like it.
No, I feel
sick from it.
it's a texture
weird.
thing. If I had it on its own, I would feel weird about it. I can only have it on its own when it's in like hot pot and it's just been like boiled. in like a sauce. So I feel you. And then again, gotta have it with rice. I would never eat just imitation crab out of the hot pot on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was mine.
For mine, I don't know exactly what it might be. It might. Hold on. Okay. Let me see if I took any pictures. Like the fair food was like okay.
Yeah. What did you get?
We got tasty chips.
What is tasty chips?
The potatoes that are like chips, but they put like cheese and stuff on them. I don't know. Kimmy grew up.
Oh,
eating
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Let's see.
Dude, the bloomin' onion at the fair is amazing. It's way better than the Outback one.
Yeah, I got really bad
Also,
spam musubi.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Also, frog legs, delicious at the fair.
I ended up like not really eating a lot of food. I forgot. I don't think I really got an entree, and I thought I did, but I just forgot to. So that's fine. So I think I'll give it to this popcorn chicken that I had the other day, which
Where at?
In Irvine, there's like this little food court outside.
Of where? Like
like off of Mickelson.
Outside of like university, like the UCI.
Like off of Mickelson.
One.
I don't know.
I'm bad with streets.
It's just like in like a shopping center. And there's like a food court. It's like 5 little places around.
Mickelson, Irvine.
Yeah. What was the popcorn chicken place? It wasn't a popcorn chicken place. It was a dumpling place. Look at this popcorn chicken.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah. It would taste like donuts though. But I'll give it to that. Why not?
Near the John Wayne Airport?
Yeah.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. That's what is this called? It's this one right here.
There's like Duck Donuts next to it.
Because they have the ramen place. What's it called?
Let me see.
Hold on. Let me go to like what's it called? Like Street View. Trade.
Yeah,
the Trade
zoom
one.
In?
This place.
I don't think so. Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's a good place. Oh, do they not have the ramen place anymore?
I'm not sure.
Oh, it looks like they don't. Wow, that's crazy. It wasn't Jinya. It was the other really famous one. Crazy. Yeah, that's a good little spot.
Yeah. It was just way too hot outside to be eating popcorn chicken that was freshly fried.
Yeah.
Yeah. The donut I got at the fair was pretty good.
What kind of donut?
Those giant Texas donuts. We actually scraped
Oh.
off the chocolate and M&Ms, and it was just a good donut. The size of your head.
Crazy.
It's the fair.
God, I just want barbecue. Like all the barbecue
Their
stands,
barbecue
like,
is mid, dude.
I know, but just like
That's the problem.
just to see it, I know that's just sad.
But
Yeah.
the thing about the deep fried Oreos,
Mm-hmm.
I've had one at a street fair.
Yeah.
Way better than the OC fair, because at the OC fair they like pre-fry them and just leave them there and they're soggy.
Oh.
When I went to the street fair, this is in Whittier, like once a month, I happened to get a haircut and it was out there, and I saw deep fried Oreos, and I saw the man take the Oreos out of a freezer, skewer
there
them,
you go.
and then throw them in a fryer, or like batter them and throw them in a fryer. I'm like, yes. And then he put powdered sugar on it, and it was freshly fried. It was delicious. That's the way you do. And they put some whipped cream on top. But
Good
yeah,
to know, good to
and
know.
finally,
maybe I don't like the fair that much.
look, it's
Maybe it is
it's
more
its own
nostalgia
vibe,
thing.
right?
Yeah,
but
it
it's
is its own
again
vibe.
one of those things like you think Disneyland's expensive? The donut was $12.
Yeah, no, it's expensive. I can't imagine how it is now.
But I am thankful for my tradition with Kimmy. It's fun, and we saw some good art
It's a
and
nice
meme
tradition.
art. It was really funny. You see the cat?
Oh yeah, no, I saw what you
Yeah,
posted. Yeah, that's fun.
So good stuff. And finally, what's your one next bite? I think we know this because you claim that you're driving to Disneyland.
Yeah,
right now.
I think I want to try to get. I want to conduct what me and Jeff lovingly refer to as fat.
You could say it.
Bleep
You could just say
fat
it.
ass activities. I really want to hit up Disneyland and possibly get a Dole Whip. Or
Trader Sam's. You're not going
at
inside
Trader Sam's.
Disneyland.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go inside Disneyland, but the Disneyland Resort and then get a Dole Whip. Or I might just go to Albert Tacos and get a California burrito. Or I might do both, which would be true fat ass activities. So we shall see. It'll be one or the other. Either way, it's going to be a great night. I'm going to be balling.
All right. For me, did I already say it's the chimichanga? I'm going to call it the chimichanga. Why not? I'll try to get
there
it.
There you go.
Gonna try to get it. So with that, you can Thank you, Matthew, for being here once again.
Of course.
You can find him at Matthew_Serrano in multiple places. At Toby and Linus if you want some clothes to match your dog.
That's right.
You're going to be at Angel Stadium this weekend?
Angel Stadium this weekend and Thick Thrift LA. That Thick Thrift LA will be on Saturday, and then Angel Stadium will be on Sunday. Angel Stadium is going to be huge.
I'm glad I got it right on the post.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
Shout
that.
out to some Instagram accounts having access to cool fonts.
Yeah.
It's very Toby and Linus font to me.
If you swing by the Toby and Linus booth, we will give you a little something. If you say that you're a Trammin fan.
Free spin.
Yeah, we'll give you a free spin. There you go. Free
spin.
spin on the wheel if you say that you're a Trammin fan.
Yeah. And take a picture. Tag them. They're really nice, obviously. So find them there, tobyandlinus.com. And yeah, so with that, thank them for listening, Matthew.
Thank you guys for listening.
See you real soon. Bye.
Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit to the Disneyland Resort. Please lower your head, watch your step, and exit to the driver's right-hand side only.